Nothing but the same for me. Heartbroken into where my brain should be. Wait for me. Don't leave without a second glance. Not again. Oh, what a shame, what a shame. Oh, what a shame, what a shame. Oh, what a shame, what a shame. God's gone, God's gone, God's gone. God's gone, God's gone, God's gone. For once, can you listen? Is that too much to ask for? Before the seasons change, before it gets cold, can you at least pretend? Can you at least pretend? Life of a pessimist, only a fool believes there is a God in the sky who listens to the plea of his child. How could he leave us all alone? Leave us all alone. How could he leave us all alone? Leave us all alone. Oh, what a shame, what a shame. Oh, what a shame, what a shame. Oh, what a shame, what a shame. God's gone, God's gone, God's gone. God's gone, God's gone, God's gone. For once, can you listen? Is that too much to ask for? Before the seasons change, before it gets cold, can you at least pretend? Can you at least pretend?
Can you listen? Is there too much to ask for? Before the seasons change, before it gets cold, can you at least pretend? Can you at least pretend?
Hey yo. Hey Lena Love, hey Tiff Starborn, thank y'all for stopping by. I would love if y'all stick around, but if y'all just passing through, I can understand that as well. But I'm gonna play that song again. Hopefully it doesn't offend anybody, but I do plan on talking about things like what am I trying to say? I do plan on talking about more like existential topics and like philosophy, not even really religion, but just like just seeking truth and things like that, morality, ethics, things like that. So I felt like that kind of went along with the theme. Not exactly, but in a way it does, because what I'm trying to do in this video is analyze like certain situations just using, our five senses and our critical thinking, as opposed to just like the typical rules. So, hey, Miss Queen Sunkiss. So I'm gonna play this song again, and hopefully, like I said, nobody's offended by it, but the song really spoke to me as far as like where I am in my path. So it's a short song, so right after this, I'm gonna get started.
Nothing but the same for me. Heartbroken into where my brain should be. Wait for me. Don't leave without a second glance. Not again. Oh, what a shame, what a shame. Oh, what a shame, what a shame. Oh, what a shame, what a shame. God's gone, God's gone, God's gone. God's gone, God's gone, God's gone. For once, can you listen? Is there too much to ask for? Before before the seasons change, before it gets cold. Can you at least pretend? Can you at least pretend? Life of a pessimist, only a fool believes there is a God in the sky who listens to the plea of his child. How could he leave us all alone? Leave us all alone. How could he leave us all alone? Leave us all alone. Oh, what a shame, what a shame. Oh, what a shame, what a shame. Oh, what a shame, what a shame. God's gone, God's gone, God's gone. God's gone, God's gone, God's gone. For once, can you listen? Is that too much to ask for? Before the seasons change, before it gets cold, can you at least pretend? Can you at least pretend?
Once can you listen? Is that too much to ask for? Before the seasons change, before it gets cold, can you at least pretend? Can you at least pretend?
Okay, y'all. Once again, the name of that song is "God's Gone" and it's by Neo X or Neo X Scary Matrix. She does a lot of content on philosophy and stuff. So, shout out to her for that song. It's not my song, but when I heard it, it really spoke to me. So, um, okay, so this video is going to be about. It's probably going to be kind of hard for me to talk because I this really is kind of spurred the moment that just maybe just in the past couple hours or maybe the past couple days. But I had been thinking about like I think a lot of times we get our morality from like you know, people around us or from religion and things like that. But I've come to the point in my life where I don't rely on religion anymore because I think that um there's a lot of stuff that's in the Bible that is immoral, you know, and I just feel like if we're going to decide whether something's moral or not, you kind of have to take off those glasses, you know, so you can actually see what you're looking at. You know, if you have something like a filter over it that is coloring, you know, your opinion on different things, then you're not really looking at it critically. Now, with that being said, let me just give a disclaimer. I do not want anybody else's man. Other people's men are not attractive to me. Like somebody else's husband, I could not be attracted to anybody's husband. I don't do that. It's just never been my thing at all. I'm staunchly against that I'm staunchly against that. I'm going to say I'm against that. So like, say if I say somebody else's husband is attractive, I'll say he's attractive the same way I'll say a female is attractive. Like just saying, oh yeah, he's handsome, but it wouldn't like I can't be like attracted to them like that. Yes, Miss Queen Sunkiss, it is personal, and that's kind of what I'm gonna get into because there's different frameworks of morality, and not all of them would look at these situations the same. The situation of an overlapping relationship, for example. So all right, so I'm gonna start with Brad and Angelina. Uh, so I was a huge fan of Angelina Jolie when I was like in high school. Because she's fucking gorgeous. She's like the definition of a bad bitch. So let me see if I can find a picture of her with her that man that she stole, yo. Um, okay, I'm gonna find a picture. I'm gonna put it up there when I find a picture that I like. But okay, so this is what I want to talk about today. Um, okay, was he really your man? So okay, so we all heard of the concept of taking somebody's man, taking somebody's husband, things like that. But the thing is, I know people say, well, if she was able to take your man, and that means your relationship wasn't strong or whatever. But this is my thing, right? And I can drop the link if anybody want to hit the panel at any point, just let me know. But my thing is, okay, so I looked up how long he and Jennifer were together, and I think they were together for like 7 years or something like that. 5 or 7 years, so longer than I thought, but they didn't have any kids. And so him and Angelina were together for like 10 years, and of course um they had three biological kids, and she already had three kids that she had adopted. And that didn't deter him. He didn't give a damn. So clearly that's what he wanted. Now I don't know if there was a dispute between him and Jennifer, like whether she wanted to have kids or not. I don't know. So I guess that could kind of factor into it, perhaps. I don't know. But so here's my question. So there are a lot of different frameworks of morality, but this is my thing. Now, on the surface, it seems wrong, right? Like you come across somebody's husband, you like him, and you just decide, okay, yeah, this is gonna be my man. It sounds wrong, right? But then we have to think about like just overall happiness and utility. So what if he was with her and they weren't really that happy? I don't know how happy she was. Maybe he was happy, maybe he thought he was happy. But the thing is, like if somebody comes along that makes them happier and that woman also is happier, it might make the person he's with sad for a while, but what if they ultimately do more good together than could have been done if he was still with that other woman? Then is it still wrong? You know what I mean? Does that make sense? Um so with that being said, I did ask ChatGPT about the different moral frameworks of like that would and how they would address these kinds of situations. So I said, how would different moral frameworks address the issue of overlapping relationships, infidelity, and a person leaving a relationship or marriage for another that may be more fulfilling? So ChatGPT basically said that different frameworks focus on different things entirely. Some focus on rules, some focus on outcomes, some on character, power, or relationships. I think the way I would look at it is more like outcome based. So, duty based ethics, deontology. Let me see if I can, because I just have like a blank screen up. Let me see if I can share my screen and show y'all what I'm talking about. Okay, so deontology is duty-based ethics. Let me pull it up. And sorry, y'all, if I'm kind of like unorganized, because there were some lives that I wanted to do that I wanted to be more organized, but I never actually got to them. So I was like, you know what? Let me just stop making a big deal out of it and just go live. You know what I mean? So, okay, so let me share my Wikipedia screen just so y'all can kind of see what I'm referring to. All right, deontology. In moral philosophy, deontological ethics or deontology is the normative ethical theory that the morality of an action should be based on whether that action itself is right or wrong under a series of rules and principles, rather than based on the consequences of the action. Okay, so they're basically saying there's no such thing as, the means, like using a bad means to get to a good end. I guess that's what they're saying. So it is sometimes described as duty, obligation, or rule-based ethics. Deontological ethics is commonly contrasted to utilitarianism and other consequentialist theories, virtue ethics, and pragmatic ethics. In the deontological approach, the inherent rightfulness of actions is considered more important than their consequences. So yeah, I don't even know if that even makes sense, but um, I can kind of see that. Okay, so duty-based ethics, deontology. I'm back in ChatGPT. So core idea, morality equals keeping rules, promises, and duties. For example, like one philosopher who I guess espoused this is Immanuel Kant, and how it judges the situation. Infidelity is almost always wrong. Overlapping relationships are wrong if they involve deception, and leaving someone else for someone else is acceptable only if done honestly first. In one relationship, then begin another. Okay, so we know that's not how it happened, right? Hey, Zero. We know that's not how it happened. So I don't know too much, and I think this was probably after I stopped like following her kind of, as much. But based on what I looked up, they got married. Wait, okay, so they started filming Mr. and Mrs. Smith in 2004, and he and Jennifer broke up or started living apart in January 2005. And then I think Mr. and Mrs. Smith came out in 2005, and then um I think she announced she was pregnant maybe towards the end of 2005 or 2006 or something like that. Um Okay, so the baby was born in May 2006. So if you subtract 9 months, that's like in the middle towards the end of, really kind of like the middle slash end of 2005. So but there were apparently like rumors that they were messing around at as early as 2004. So um what that says to me is that, like, honestly, you know how they say the universe keeps getting bigger and bigger. So this is an analogy. I'm like the queen of bad analogies, but you know how they say the universe is expanding, right? So that means we can look out and we can't see the whole universe, but let's just say we could see the whole universe. To us, that means that's the biggest it could ever possibly be. But then tomorrow is bigger, the next day is bigger. So I think that probably, and maybe I'm probably oversimplifying because they were together for a while, but do you think you could be with somebody and think that you're happy, or think that it's everything you want and need until you find out that there's more? You know, what are you guys' thoughts on that? Um, and how, let's just say that Brad was not meant to be with Jennifer. Let's just say Brad was ultimately meant to be with Angelina. So is there a way that they could have done that the right way, or is any way that it happens just the way that it happened? You know what I mean? And so I'm basing this on the fact that, like, they didn't have any kids together, Brad and Jennifer. And not saying that you have to have kids to be married, but um the thing is like, can Jennifer even say that Brad is her ex? Like, he is technically her ex, but that's not, it's not her man. That's Angelina's man. Even though I know him and Angelina are not together anymore, that's still who she was with when she was like in her prime years. That's who she had all her kids by. You know what I mean? So therefore, that's her man. You see what I mean? Like, so it kind of doesn't matter, who he was with before. You know what I mean? I don't know if that makes, hopefully that makes sense. What I'm trying to say. Okay, so back to ChatGPT, it says that a committed relationship is a promise or a contract, and breaking that through deception is treating the other person as a means, not an end. So the bottom line is, you can leave, but you must do it honestly before starting something new. And like I said, we know that didn't happen. Angelina denies that she messed around with him while he was married. Do I believe her? Not for real. I'm just gonna say not for real. But she said something like, let me see what she said about the situation. Because I looked it up a little bit ago. Sorry. But she said, okay, I can't find it now, of course, but she said something like, let me just find the quote. Um, um, but she said basically something like she couldn't be in love with a man that cheated on his wife, and something about her dad cheated on her mom, and that she said they fell in love while the movie was filming. That's what she said. I don't know how you can, whatever, but I'm going to get to that. So and also that wasn't her first time like snatching somebody's man. So let me just say that wasn't her first time snatching somebody's man. But okay, back to ChatGPT. Y'all let me know if I'm rambling. Stop e-begging. Yeah, for real. Yeah, but she said something like she didn't start messing with him until like later. She said Brad said there was no infidelity, but they fell in love. Okay, well, I should have secured the quote before I tried to speak on it, but yeah, that's what she said in a nutshell. Because I looked it up today. So, back to ChatGPT, and I'm sorry if I'm rambling, y'all. I'm new at this, but consequentialism or utilitarianism. The core idea is that morality equals outcomes, maximize well-being, minimize harm. Think John Stuart Mill. How it judges the situation. Infidelity is usually wrong. It causes harm, betrayal, and instability, but not always. Leaving for a more fulfilling relationship could be justified if it leads to greater long-term happiness for more people. Key considerations: who is harmed? Spouse, children, extended family. Okay, so keep in mind, he and Jennifer didn't have any kids. So, is the new relationship genuinely better or just short-term desire? They stayed together for like 10 years, like 11 years. Now, of course, we know, well, this is what my mom says, right? She says if somebody, say for instance, if two people are together for 5 years, that means half of that time they were actually breaking up. Like, so yes, I do remember that Candy Cane. And she got a son that looked just like her brother now. Just like him. But what was I saying? Oh yeah. So yeah, my mom says, like, let's say if two people were together for 10 years, that means 5 of those years they were breaking up. So I think that's a fair thing to say. Sometimes stuff goes wrong at the end, but I think that's a pretty much fair estimate. So I would say since they were together for like 11 years and had 3 kids, I'm still gonna say that relationship was better, and not only that, but as far as I know, she was the one that was done with him. She was done with him before he was done with her. So I'm gonna say that he was happier. But of course, anybody's gonna start working on your fucking nerves after some time. And then of course, you see somebody like short term, or you see him from a distance, and you see, the fantasy. You don't actually see the real person. You get to know the real person after you are actually with them. So of course, whatever he thought he was getting is never going to be exactly what he got. And whatever she thought she was getting is not going to be exactly what she got. Okay, so could the transition be handled in a less harmful way? I don't know. Because stop e-begging, you said that emotional infidelity is infidelity. But at the same time, doesn't emotional infidelity have to take place before, like, let's just say he decided to end his marriage before he moved on, or before he started messing around with her physically, right? Emotional infidelity is kind of a given if your man is coming to you and telling you that he don't want you no more. Like, that you can assume that emotional infidelity has already taken place. I mean, I would think that's only relevant if he does not in fact plan on leaving his partner, but he's still engaging in emotional infidelity with somebody. But it seems like it all happened kind of fast. So, if he don't want you, he just don't want you, unfortunately. if a man don't want you, he just don't want you. Like, there's nothing you can do about it. I guess he wanted her at first, Okay, so bottom line, it's not the overlap itself, it's whether the net impact is harmful or beneficial. Now, in this case, obviously I'm an outsider. I don't know. And like I said, I've been stopped following her like that. But I'm gonna say that the overall impact was probably positive, just based on the fact that he did subsequently adopt her children that she adopted, and they went on to have more kids, and they went on to stay together for over 10 years. So all right, so virtue ethics. This is a third moral framework. The core idea is that morality is what a good person with good character would do. Think Aristotle. How it judges the situation focuses less on rules, more on character traits. Infidelity often reflects dishonesty, disloyalty, lack of self control, but also considers, are you trapped in a bad or loveless relationship? Are you acting with integrity, courage, and compassion? Bottom line, a virtuous person doesn't deceive, but may leave if staying is inauthentic or harmful. So, what I'm thinking about that is, the word is there, virtue ethics. It's okay, so it's talking about your character. But then when we think about, as I've stepped away from organized religion and just more towards I guess assessing situations as they come, or developing my own, like, moral principles and things like that. um I think I've come to realize that you have to take more than that into consideration, because they're talking about virtue ethics and what a good person with good character would do. But the thing is, life is short, right? Life is short. So, what are you actually proving by staying with somebody that you don't actually want? Because if he would have wanted to still be with her, he would still be with her, unless she told him, like, I'm done with you, which I doubt was the case. I doubt, Um, so it's like he's punishing himself and proving what to who, like proving like that he could stay with somebody that he don't want. I mean, you know what I mean? Because at the end of the day, do you really want somebody with you that really wants to be with somebody else? Especially if you don't have kids. Yeah, it's gonna hurt. It's gonna always hurt to be left by somebody for somebody else. But that's just how shit is. You know what I mean? So um bottom line, a virtuous person doesn't deceive, but may leave if staying is inauthentic or harmful. Okay, care ethics. Core idea, morality equals relationships, empathy, and responsibility. Think Carol Gilligan. I'm not familiar with that person. Okay, how it judges the situation. Focuses on emotional impact and relational harm. Infidelity is harmful because it breaks trust, damages emotional bonds, but also recognizes people outgrow relationships and emotional needs matter. Key question: how are you caring for everyone affected? Bottom line, leaving may be justified, but doing it in a way that minimizes emotional harm is critical. So what comes to my mind when I think that is, when I hear that, am I still sharing? Okay, I am. All right. So what comes to my mind is that if he doesn't really want to be with her, then how is he going to be treating her? You see what I mean? Like, if he doesn't want to be with her, but he feels stuck with her, how is he actually going to be treating her? And does she deserve to be with somebody who treats her that way? Oh yeah, I did. Yeah, I was gonna find some pictures. Let me see. Yeah. So I think by him going where he wanted to go, it frees her to go and be with somebody that really wants her. I think we don't really like that idea, just because of the fact that um it's kind of like it makes me think, how many people actually are with the person that they really wanted, and how many people are with somebody that they settled for. You know what I mean? Because I think there's so many different stages and steps you could look at it through. Because let's just say somebody might like you, but not enough to actually tie the knot with you. And if they have to make a decision whether they're gonna tie the knot or leave, they're gonna leave, right? Okay, that's like the lowest level of liking somebody. But then you might be with somebody that likes you and thinks you're who they should marry. But when it comes down to it and they meet somebody else, they actually realize, hey, you know what? Maybe what I thought I had isn't everything that I thought it was. So maybe I should go ahead and be with somebody else. You know what I mean? And then there's the person that you leave the other person for. That's who you really want, right? That's who you really want, right? So I mean, it would hurt, but at the same time, it's like, I'm not trying to you know, I'm not trying to hold nobody back from what's meant for them. So, I would just be like, okay, fine, it hurts, I'll just go get some therapy. But it is what it is. So I'm gonna share this little picture, this picture just to have something on the damn screen, I guess. Um let me see. Okay. So okay, so existentialist ethics. This is number 5, which is another moral framework. Existentialist ethics core idea is morality equals authenticity and personal responsibility. Think John Paul Sartre. How it judges the situation. Staying in an unfulfilling relationship is bad faith, self-deception, but you are fully responsible for your choices and you can't hide behind excuses. Bottom line, choose authenticity, but own the consequences, including the harm you cause. And I think I'm with that one. I think that I agree with that one. Just based on the fact that like I said, you staying with somebody that you don't want, it's kind of like you're trying to prove that you're a good person by being with somebody that you don't want. But how does that make you a good person? You know what I mean? That doesn't Being with somebody you don't actually want doesn't make you a good person. Now, you could be judged, I guess, for falling out of love with that person, maybe for what we could see as shallow reasons, like somebody's beauty or their image, or whatever the case may be. You know what I mean? But at the end of the day, like, do you want somebody that don't want you? I'm gonna drop the link. I still have more to go through, but I'm just gonna drop the link just in case somebody wants to come up. No pressure. Because like I said, I still have plenty to go through. But thank y'all for being here. Whoever's here, thank y'all. Okay, so 6, social / contractarian views. Core idea: morality equals agreements that allow society to function. How it judges the situation. Relationships are explicit or implicit contracts. Infidelity is breaking agreed rules. Leaving is fine if you exit the contract first. Bottom line, breaking the agreement secretly is the violation, not leaving itself. Okay. That's a real clinical way of looking at it, which I also think is unrealistic, because I don't think any man is gonna be like, it's gonna fall in love with somebody they work with without actually touching them, and then go home to their wife and be like, you know what, I've fallen out of love with you, and I have to let you know that I'm leaving so that I'm not cheating on you. No, they don't. They'll just cheat, right? They'll just cheat until they get tired of cheating or whatever. So 7, evolutionary psychological lens, not moral, but explanatory. Core idea: behavior is shaped by biology and mating strategies. It says humans may be drawn to better partners, status, compatibility, novelty. Novelty. Y'all remember that word, novelty. Overlapping relationships can occur during mate switching, but this explains behavior. It does not justify it morally. So the core tension across all frameworks is almost all of them agree on one key distinction. The following are generally condemned: deception, betrayal, secret overlap that harms others. The following are more morally acceptable: ending one relationship before starting another. We know that didn't happen. And seeking fulfillment without dishonesty. Probably didn't really happen. Okay, so a useful way to summarize it: you can think of 3 separate moral questions. Is it okay to want something better? Most frameworks say yes. Is it okay to leave for something better? Most frameworks say yes, depending on context. Is it okay to overlap and deceive? Most frameworks usually say no. And I'll be honest, I think that the fact that he didn't have kids with his previous wife definitely affects my decision, and I hate to say that, because it's saying like I'm saying that, it seems like I'm saying that if you don't have kids with somebody, that you're not really married to them. But and that's not what I'm saying. But I guess what I'm saying is that by him, even though he left, she's still free to go find somebody else and fulfill whatever that she wants to fulfill with somebody else, because as it turned out, he's not the right one. That's different, I think, from creating a family and abandoning your family, because I feel like at the end of the day, we can see that Jennifer was not the right one for him, because he ended up getting with somebody else and having kids with her. So even though they broke up, most people are going to break up anyway. So, I mean, I feel like that's kind of irrelevant. After a certain point in time, you're probably going to get tired of somebody, and, she don't play about her kids, and, he did whatever he did in front of her kids, and she decided she wasn't having that. So, she got him out of there, and she got the right. She got the right. Okay, so but yeah, I don't think that's I don't think like Jennifer, of course, she probably was glad they broke up, secretly. But at the same time, it's not really a win for her because it didn't prove anything. Because, like I said, most people are going to break up anyway. That's still Angelina's baby daddy. Them kids still look like a mix of him and her. And that's it. So that's not a win. That's not a win for anybody. It's not a win for Jennifer. I would be like, okay, you know. Okay, so I did ask it more specifically to apply the frameworks to Angelina Jolie and Brad Pitt's situation, and it's morally contested because the timeline itself is debated. So, the basic setup: Brad Pitt was married to Jennifer Aniston. He met Angelina Jolie while filming Mr. and Mrs. Smith in 2004. Pitt and Aniston separated/divorced in 2005, and Pitt and Jolie became a couple shortly after. Key moral uncertainty: did the emotional or romantic relationship begin before the marriage was effectively over? Now we know it did, right? We know. Okay, we're not going to be stupid. We know it did. Okay, so if we look at it under the moral framework of deontology, duty and promises, if there was overlap, then it's morally wrong because marriage is a binding promise, and emotional or physical involvement outside of it is a breach of duty. And Jolie's participation, if knowing, was complicit in that breach. That was complicity in that breach. If there was no overlap, it's morally permissible. If Pitt ended the marriage, then began a new relationship. This framework hinges almost entirely on timeline clarity. So I'm going to just say, let's be grown-ups and know that we know how it happened. Okay, so utilitarian outcomes. Short-term effects likely harmful. Emotional harm to Aniston, public humiliation and media frenzy, social ripple effects, fans' public narrative. Long-term effects mixed to positive. Pitt and Jolie formed a long-term partnership, but built a family and shared humanitarian work. Relationship lasted over a decade. Complication: their eventual divorce and conflict adds negative weight back in. But like I said, I think that's irrelevant because, most people are going to break up. Okay, so bottom line, if we look at it under a utilitarian framework, it's morally ambiguous because the transition was harmful, but it's potentially justified by long-term happiness, but less clearly given so given the eventual outcome. So I'm going to go with this explanation. And I'm not saying that it's okay to mess with somebody's husband because I don't believe in that. Like I said, other people's husbands are not even attractive to me. But honestly, I'm going to say this. I think it makes a difference if you're just messing with somebody's husband, and you become a problem, like for them to work out, versus if you actually end up with that person's husband, that means that's your man. You know what I mean? It's not her man anymore. It's your man, and it wasn't ever really her man. So I think there's a difference. So like, I think she's probably the type of person, she knows what she wants and she know that she's going to get what she want. So I don't think she was trying to be his side. You know what I mean? I don't think she was trying to be his side piece. I think she was just like, yeah, that's going to be my man. So is it right? I'm not going to say it's right, but if somebody can take your man, girl, like that's your man. You know what I mean? That's your man. If somebody could just come in, get him to do shit to hurt you, that's your man. It's not my man. It's your man. That's just how I look at it. Okay, so virtue, ethics, character, potential criticisms: lack of restraint if attraction acted on too early, disloyalty by Brad Pitt, insensitivity to others if the harm was foreseeable, but also authentic connection, willingness to pursue a meaningful relationship and long-term commitment. They didn't treat it casually. Bottom line, mixed character signal: the beginning may reflect poor judgment, but the depth and longevity suggest seriousness and commitment. Okay, so the next framework is care, ethics, relationships, and empathy. The focus is emotional harm and relational responsibility. It would likely critique Aniston's experience, which is public heartbreak and loss amplified by media scrutiny. If transition lacked emotional care, that's bad, but also considers, was the marriage already deteriorating? Could harm have been reduced? Bottom line, the key issue is how much care and empathy were shown during the transition. So that's another thing you can actually take into consideration. Their marriage probably was already deteriorating, because if you're together for 7 years, I don't know how that is. I never been with nobody for 7 years. They say something about the 7 year itch. He coming home looking at her. I just hate that lady's face. I hate that lady's face. Like, I'm gonna be honest with y'all, like, for real. But he looking at her ass every day. Then you go to work and you see somebody that's new, somebody that's exciting, and you're not, when you see them, you're not seeing all the baggage that they're gonna come with. You're not seeing all the problems, all the quirks, or fucked up personality, the narcissism. You're not seeing all that. All you're seeing is the physical, and you're seeing what they want you to see, and you're seeing their unique charms and stuff like that. And then you go home to your boring ass wife that's working on your fucking nerves, not really exciting you anymore, or either she's not trying to excite you anymore. So, I think that's the shallow part of it when you consider novelty. But like I said, all you got to do is be around somebody for long enough, and then you're going to see what it's really about. And of course, that's what happened. So, but that's the thing. And I made a live about that before though, but I was talking about, I said marriage in the Black community, but actually it applies in any case. And I was talking about the fact that if most people are going to break up anyway, even if you get married, have kids, most people are going to break up anyway. Is that a regretful thing? Like, would you look at back and be like, damn, well, maybe I should have been with somebody else? Maybe you should have been with somebody else, but maybe that was the person that you were supposed to be with, but that's just how it ended, if that makes sense. You know what I mean? Because he can go and get with somebody else, but if he doesn't have kids with that person, which, he may or may not, but you're still the main person that he was with, and now he's just with he's not actually building his life with the next person. He's just with that person, like, kind of for convenience. You know what I mean? If you were the person that he was with for the majority of the time, he had kids with you, y'all bought a house together, whatever the case may be, then like, that's actually your man. You know what I mean? Even if you go on and marry somebody else, that's not, what I mean? Is that really real? That's like Tina Knowles and Matthew Knowles. Matthew Knowles is still her, you know what I mean? That's her main man, because that's who she had her kids by. He went and, he might have went and married somebody else. I think he did. He went and had some outside kids. She went and married somebody else, and I think they already broke up. That's not real. What's real is who usually your first choice is, or the first person you're married to, or if that marriage doesn't really last, and whoever it is that you end up having kids with, and being with for the longest amount of time. Whoever you're with before that, it don't matter. Whoever you're with after, it don't matter. So I doubt even though she probably hate his ass right now, I'm talking about Angelina, I'm sure she don't regret actually being with him, because I mean, hey, you got to pick somebody that, if you want to have kids, you got to pick somebody to be your partner and be the person that you're going to have kids with. So, people are not perfect, so they're going to do what they do, but that's who she chose. So, okay, so existentialism, authenticity, and responsibility. Staying in a relationship without a genuine connection is inauthentic, and falling in love with someone else may reveal that truth. And that's what I was saying earlier, because like I said, maybe the marriage was already deteriorating, but maybe he did think he was happy with her until he came across somebody else, So you must own, it says, but you must own the consequences fully, no moral free pass for hurting others. So the bottom line is, it would be acceptable if Pitt acted authentically and accepted responsibility for the harm caused. Social contract view. Marriage is agreed upon rules, explicit or implicit. The judgment. Okay, starting a new relationship before ending the marriage is a contract violation, but ending the marriage first, then a new relationship is unacceptable. I never understood the distinction, because nobody wants to be high Vagoda. Nobody wants to be cheated on, but at the same time, it's like, is it any better if your man just comes to you and be like, I'm leaving you for somebody else? Does that feel any better? Like, I just need to know, would that make y'all feel better than if you catch him cheating? Like, I can't say that one would feel, I think maybe him just coming to me and telling me he's leaving me for somebody else, that would actually feel worse. Like, is that childish? I feel like that would be worse. Okay, so yeah, so I mean, I'm just gonna say that's bullshit. Because you're still not supposed to be leaving. If we're just going by like till death do us part, you're still not supposed to be leaving. So you telling me that you're leaving before you leave, it doesn't make it any better. Okay. All right. So bottom line, again, it comes down to whether the contract was broken before being exited. Okay, putting it all together. where most frameworks converge. The critical moral issue is not the new relationship itself, it's whether there was deception, emotional betrayal, a premature overlap. Where they diverge, the more strict frameworks are deontology and contract, and it focuses on rules and commitments. Verdict: wrong if overlap occurred. Um, the more flexible frameworks are utilitarian and existentialism, and the focus is on outcomes and authenticity. The verdict is that it's potentially justified if the marriage was already failing, and if the new relationship was meaningful and enduring. So, I do want to talk about Julia Roberts' situation um a little bit later, just depending on how long I stay on here. But I also just want to go through some more points while considering this specific situation. So, all right, so yeah, morality versus destiny. Um, would you want morality to get in the way of your destiny? Like, what are your thoughts on that? You could say it's rhetorical. If anybody want to hit the panel, if they have something to say about it, then feel free. Um, I think when you put it in those terms, as far as like morality interfering with destiny, I would say that I okay, hold on. Hi, Vagoda. How you doing?
Hi, good evening.
Hi. What are your thoughts on this topic? Let me know if I need to kind of like give you like catch you up on the topic. The topic is
Uh,
like okay.
if you can give me a catch on the top, a short catch on the topic, that will be lovely.
Okay, so if somebody can come and take your man, was that really your man or is that her man? Number one. Number two, is it should morality or the appearance of morality get in the way of destiny and happiness? And um what things would you take into consideration when you're determining that?
Okay. Well, first of all, if I can take something physically, then it's not make it just. Um, that is for the first answer.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, only if I can take it, it's not mean it's mine. You know, I
Okay.
technically can take. If
True.
I see somebody going up the street, I can take. If I have the physical force on him, I can take his stuff
Okay.
that's making mine or stuff. No, or something. No.
Interesting.
And morality, in terms of morality, about the second question, I think that there's need to be a limit on what you're going to do that is not moral in order to get your stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Of course, it depends on the details, but I don't want. But I have, as a person with morality standards, I'm not going to do something sick to somebody in order to get something.
Mm-hmm.
Of course, it depends what, who, why, when, and etc. etc.
Mm-hmm.
And what was your final question?
Oh, well, what factors could change your responses to those first two questions? Like, for instance, whether he and his previous wife had kids, or whether their marriage was already deteriorating, or things like that.
Okay. Well, I think I already answered half of that part, but
Mhm.
if I will if I will get a relationship, then if the woman have kids, then that is almost full-on deal breaker for me.
Right. Okay.
I
Okay.
also don't. I forgive me for saying this. Don't be offended, but I was literally thinking that you're a man when before I got in here. I didn't hear your voice.
What
Just
was?
from I see how you write in comments and stuff. I was probably thinking that you're a man.
So you think
Sorry.
a man would call himself Choco Kitty? So is that
I
masculine?
didn't read your name correctly, but it's look the cat that you are using as a profile looks like it doesn't look like something from anime or
Huh?
something that females would use.
Do you know what that is? What my profile is? It's my neck.
I
It
am
looks.
talking about the picture profile.
Oh, the cat.
Yes,
Really? Huh. Okay. Well, I like cats, so
me too. I
Yeah.
had one. I had one more than a decade ago.
Uh-huh.
She passed away when I was in the army.
Oh,
She
I'm
had she had cancer in her belly,
mm-hmm.
unfortunately.
Yeah, I think a lot of cats do get cancer.
Yeah.
But so another thing I wanted to talk about with regards to this couple right here is do good people strive for moral perfection? You know what I mean? Because we're not perfect as people. I don't I mean, should we try to be perfect, or is it like, let's just say, if you feel like, okay, I'm a decent person, I do a lot of humanitarian work, I'm nice to people, but my weakness is that if I want a man, I'm just going to try to make him mine. I don't really care about who whoever is in the way. That I'm not going to let anybody get in my way. So does that make her a bad person? You know what I mean? Overall, if she does
Um.
a lot of good, but that's just one thing that she does, does that make sense? Because I don't think that could make her a bad person in and of itself. I don't think that's enough to
Okay. About the perfection part, I don't. No, none of us are perfect, especially me. If we try, we should always, in theory, try to be better
mm-hmm.
and work on ourselves. But we should. But perfect, there's no such thing as perfect.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So it's
Mm-hmm.
you get
Yeah,
me.
so I don't think of course I'm biased because like I said, I'm a fan of hers. I used to be a really big fan of hers. And also the same for Julia Roberts. I would say that they're like my two favorite actresses. Um but yeah, I think that people aren't going to be like, no one's going to be perfect. I just think some things that you can do wrong, they can give you more negative like publicity, but it doesn't really make it more or less wrong. You know what I mean? I think that's just how some people are. You know what I mean? Like, you know how like my mom, she was actually talking about men when she said this. She said you just can't trust some men around women. You know what I mean? Just like you just can't trust some people around money. You know what I mean? It's just how it is. So maybe she's just somebody like, okay, well, that's her vice, that's her weakness, but it doesn't necessarily make her a bad person. You just can't trust her around your man. You see what I'm saying?
Well, it depends which man and from where they are and etc. etc. But overall, you should put an eye on somebody if you're dating with him.
So let me say this wasn't her first situation where she snatched somebody's man. Let's see.
Will she what?
Snatched somebody's man.
Your
Um,
mom?
no, not my mama.
Oh,
I'm
okay.
talking
Sorry,
about
I thought you were talking
Angelina.
about your mom.
I'm talking about
Okay.
ha 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 ha. It's funny. No, um,
Yeah.
my mama's
The guy
man.
in the picture is it Brad Pitt or I'm
Yes,
mistaken?
yes, Brad Pitt. Yeah.
Oh,
Okay,
okay.
so this is the first time she did it. And this is why I say, okay, yeah, it's a pattern. At this point in time, let me share my other screen. I'm new at this, y'all. Okay, okay. So I need to close some stuff, but that is she was with him when she was probably around like 26-ish.
This
Um
is also Brad Pitt or I'm
no, that's not Brad Pitt. That's Billy Bob Thornton. So Billy Bob Thornton, let me see.
I
I
don't know him. The
Yeah,
woman, from what I know, is I don't know the name of the woman, but if I'm mistaken, she was and she's an actor from one of the Tomb Raider movies from the
yes,
early
yes,
2000s.
yes.
Yeah, got
Um
it.
yeah, that's her. Okay, so let me see. Okay, so Laura Dern and Billy Bob Thornton were engaged and living together between 1997 and 1999, but their relationship ended abruptly when Thornton married Angelina Jolie while Dern was away working. Dern described the split as a sudden betrayal, stating she never heard from him again, and they had collaborated. Oh, they had collaborated on whatever movie, whatever, blah blah. So, basically, the couple met in the late 90s, around 1997, on Ellen, and were considered inseparable and engaged by 1999. So, he played the fuck out of his fiance, right? Because she's sitting at home being his fiance, and next thing she knows, she sees in the news that her boyfriend got married. You know, so but I feel like you can kind of say the same thing about this situation. Now, is this nice what Angelina is doing? No, it's not. But at the same time, you were his fiance. That means y'all were together or whatever, y'all lived together, but y'all weren't married. But he saw her and then he automatically was like, okay, yeah, I'm marrying her. What does that mean? That means he actually really wanted somebody else and then somebody else was not you. You see what I mean? So
Yeah. Let
it's
me
like
tell you a secret, my dear. So-called secret. Most of the celebrities, all those Hollywood celebrities, are nuts in their heads.
what do you mean?
They are loony. Most of
Oh
those
yeah, yeah.
celebrities.
Yeah, yeah. Hi, stop e-begging. How you doing?
Hi, good. How are you?
Thank you for hitting my
Good
PM. Good
evening.
to see you. What are your thoughts on this? Why is Angelina stealing everybody's man? Like, why?
Because she has probably borderline personality disorder.
Possibly.
Yeah, yeah.
Does it make
Well,
you want to
those
steal other
celebrities
people's
are
man?
loony, like I said.
Does it make you want to steal other
Literally.
people's man? You know what? This is what I think, and this is what I wanted to get to that too. Um, is there somebody out there that can have any man that they want? Are there just some people out there that if they want this man, they can just have him, and the rest of us, just have to accept that? Like if this bitch came around and she wanted my man, she could take my man. You know what I mean? Is that just
Uh,
how it
I
is?
yes, I think Lauren Sanchez is like that.
um,
The one
I
that
think there
married
are
Jeff
two
Bezos.
scenarios that you can have that.
huh?
Unfortunately, if the person that will have, will t- if you know, like I said, there's if you ask me two scenarios that somebody would have, can have almost every person that he wants.
Uh-huh.
If that person is a billionaire, oligarch billionaire, or a really good Casanova or seducer or whatever you
A
call
really
it,
good Casanova, you said?
seducer.
Yeah, yeah. Um,
But
uh,
still, if you are a billionaire, then you literally can buy.
yeah. So I think in her case, I'm gonna keep it real, yo. I think Angelina is really, really beautiful and gorgeous. Like she to me, she's like a 10. I'm just gonna keep it real. And I think that people like that can do things that other people can't do. You know what I mean? So I feel like if she comes around you, she's gonna make you look bad. You know what I'm saying? Like, so I don't know. I just feel like maybe she's just one of them people. Like, if she wants your man, you just shit out of luck. I don't know. Maybe not. That's what I.
Well,
I'm not
I
saying
think
she's everybody's type, but whoever that is, whoever type she is, yeah. If she wants your man, you just gonna have to just bow out because that's just how it is. You know what I mean?
okay.
Look at the
So
bright side, my dear. Sorry, sorry, miss, I interrupted you.
Yeah.
Yeah, sorry.
Go ahead,
go
stop.
ahead.
Oh, okay.
No, no, miss, stop. You want to say something, so I'm not going to shut up.
Okay. So I think that it takes a certain type of personality, and it's a disordered personality that can take almost any man. And this is why I gave the example of Lauren Sanchez.
Yeah, I was
She is
wondering. Okay.
she is not the most beautiful.
Not at all.
She doesn't have the best body in the world, but she has a long track record
Mm-hmm.
of she dated several professional athletes, including black professional athletes.
Mm-hmm.
She's dated millionaires. I think that she's just a very seductive person who
Mm.
will study a man
Mm-hmm.
and who will give him attention.
Mm-hmm.
And that I think it was, even though I don't really care for Oprah anymore, Oprah had a really good point when she had a show and she was talking about infidelity. It's not necessarily what the other woman has, It's how she makes him feel. So I think Angelina knows how to make a man feel good. And I don't mean just sexually. I think she's a seductress.
What make
And
you say that, my dear?
she's a seductress because she has a track record of doing that.
Track
And
record,
she,
huh?
yeah, she,
Okay.
you know, there
I
are,
don't know what is the life of that woman. I just know that she was an actress from 2 films of the Tomb Raider. That's all.
okay, so Billy Bob Thornton is nothing to write home about. He,
I don't
you
think he
know,
was a bad looking guy. I mean, he was old as fuck. I'm like, why you want? I don't know. That was crazy.
okay, look, he's not ugly, okay, but he's nothing to write home about. He was a struggling, successful actor who was long in the tooth. And I, you know, and I hate to slam his home state, but Arkansas, come on. So he's, you know, he's low, he's bottom of the barrel. I'm sorry.
Damn.
But she knew he was engaged and she stole him.
Yeah.
She made an engaged man run off to Las Vegas and marry her. I mean, she really, it was like salt and pepper. I'll take your man, you know, just, yeah. I think there are some women out there who are like that.
Yep.
Yeah. So, and I think Lauren Sanchez is one of those women too.
Yeah, that's interesting. You should say that because I don't find that woman attractive at all.
No,
I
she's
don't
got
know
the
who is Laura Sanchez, but whatever.
yeah, she's, you know, she's got the little troll body. She's got the little short, stubby legs. She's got the wonky eye. She's had some bad plastic surgery and bad lip fillers.
It sounds like you are trying to depict the wife of Kanye West, or the ex-wife of Kanye West.
Yeah, she has some Kim Kardashian characters.
Yeah.
But she made this married man who was, you know, married to somebody he met in college, who he built this fortune. She made him give up his wife and children and over $100 billion. And that's because she is a seductress.
She made him to give up his wife and children for what? Money?
No. He had the money. But
okay, so what shows she
knew how to seduce him.
I mean, so
okay, if he gives up his wife and kids, then he's a scumbag. What kind of father
so you're
he is?
basing that okay, so see you're basing that on her track record.
I'm basing it on I'm basing it on her track record and the fact that he is, again, nothing to write home about. Do you, I mean,
you talking about George, you talking about Bezos?
Yes, Bezos. Shit. Oh, I'm sorry. I gotta go. This is eBay calling me.
Okay,
bye-bye.
All right. All right, bye. Okay.
Well, just you and me again.
Yeah. Interest. I do find it interesting. She said Lauren Sanchez because I mean, I don't know. So this, I think it could be a looks thing or a personality thing. You know what I mean? To me, Lauren Sanchez, I mean, she's regular, right? I don't know what her personality is like. I just can't imagine. You know, I don't know. I don't know the lady, so I don't know. So I'm not gonna really, you know what I mean? I don't know.
Okay.
But yeah, okay. But if let's just say I was gonna compare her to somebody, I wouldn't compare her to Lauren Sanchez. I'd probably compare Angelina to like Marilyn Monroe or somebody like that. You know what I mean? Who else we got out here? I don't know.
You know, if it's important to remember about all those celebrities, one big thing. You know what that is?
What?
That those guys are not perfect. They are. Yeah, they are. Like I said, they are not perfect, and those guys they're not need to be worshipped like they are idols. From
Yeah.
what I know, in the USA, a lot of people worship those guys and take their words like it's something,
Mm-hmm.
like it's you know,
Mm-hmm.
something big.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah, those guys are are imperfect way more than us, especially Michael Jackson or Kanye West or let's see who
Yeah.
other. Yeah, you get the picture.
Um, yeah. I just think, like I said, I think, I don't know, man. Like sometimes, you know what I mean? I don't know. But it makes me wonder, like, say if you're with somebody, I'm just gonna say, like, say if I'm with somebody and he's fine. I think I'm happy. You know what I mean? And I think that he's, putting forth his best effort or whatever. How do you know that he really is putting forth his best effort? How do you know that you're the one he actually really wants? Like, how do you know that? You know? You don't know that unless and until, like, you can't, it's kind of like they say you can't prove a negative or something like that. I don't know, it's kind of like you say you can't prove that God doesn't exist. You can't prove that, right? But you can't prove that this man don't really like you like that, or don't really fuck with you like that, until he turns on you. You see what I mean? So that's when you find out. You don't find out until that happens, until he has an opportunity, which reminds me of what Chris Rock said. He said a man is only as faithful as his options, you know? So what if you think that you in love? What if you think that somebody loves you, but the reality is that he's just content and he just hasn't met somebody that like blows his socks off. You know what I mean?
Not, I don't get your metaphor exactly,
Well,
but
yeah, what I'm saying is that, does your man really want you, or is it just that you're who he's
my
with?
woman in my case,
Well,
you
yeah,
mean?
yeah, of course, yeah. But or is it just that he's just with you because you're the best thing he's come across yet that actually wanted him? You know?
That is a question that I'm not in a relationship right now, but if I was, that is a question that I would not want to ask, at least not
Right.
right away or in
Yeah.
times of crisis.
Yeah, it'll fuck with your mind. It'll fuck with your mind, honestly. Like,
Yeah.
but I think that's kind of how it is. That's just what we have to deal with as people. But I think not everybody has to worry about that. Like, you know what I mean? Because I feel like
Are you in a relationship?
no, no. But I feel like she probably don't have to worry about that because, like I said, oh, that's another thing I wanted to talk about. Is there an advantage to coming into a relationship like that, like taking somebody else's man, quote unquote? Is there an advantage to that? Um, because at that moment they are choosing, right? They are making a choice between you and somebody else, and you kind of are catching them on the downswing, or you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like you see everything that's going on and you're making the decision. Does that make
In
sense?
order to have a lovely relationship, you wreck somebody else's.
Wait,
How
say again.
lovely.
Well, yeah,
I
I mean, I'm not
said,
saying uh-huh.
if you don't hear me correctly or there is problems in my microphone,
No,
um,
it's just that I was talking when you said that. That's why I asked you to repeat yourself. But
yeah, just I got a SMS right now.
no, I
The
hear you
prob
fine.
Yeah, I just before I answer you, I just am saying I got an SMS right now. There is a chance that there will be an alert very soon, so I will need to go to a shelter if there is a
Oh,
possibility that I will
oh,
need to go. Yes,
I'm
it
sorry.
happens multiple times a night, unfortunately,
Uh-huh.
and yeah,
How do you feel
people
about that? Like
about what?
about like I guess living like that. I mean, it's not good, but I mean, you're talking
Do I
about
have a
that,
choice?
right? Yeah. But would you prefer that somebody was doing something different so that didn't have to be this way?
What do you
Like,
mean somebody does we are
like
talking about the relationship or
oh, I'm
about
talking
the
about you.
alarm?
No, I'm talking about your situation. Like,
Yeah, first of all, I people say that I force that I force this topic on people this topic is a part of my life routine in those days, but I don't want to force it on anyone. Okay, so just saying, how is it for me? It's it's if this war will end the threat from Iran and from Hezbollah in Lebanon, then so be it.
Really?
I can say, and I'm lucky overall because I have a shelter in the room next to me in my apartment. A lot of people that live in bad apartments doesn't have a shelter in them, and they need to go to a basement inside the building.
Yeah.
Or
But do you
okay,
think?
so
But do you
I'm
think?
lucky.
So who do you think is responsible for this, or who could have prevented this, or who could end it? Who could change it? If you think anybody can.
Prevent, you can be specific, prevent what? The war with Iran,
Yeah.
the conflict
Yeah.
with Lebanon.
Right. Do you think?
My dear, we should remember about this topic that all of this started during the 7th of October.
Okay.
So, okay, so if you want to, a lot of people messed up in that horrible day, and that's why it happened.
Okay.
Okay, and
So you
one
think
of
it's
them is
you think what's going on now is just it's necessary?
yes, in order to end the threat from Iran once and for all, and to end the threat from Lebanon, it's necessary. We don't want to get 7th of October 2.0 from Lebanon.
Yeah. Okay.
We don't want that. I have people that worked with me in the past that lives in the north, and I don't want to imagine that the stuff that happened to people in 7th of October will happen to them.
Gotcha.
Already my cousin was in the Nova Festival, if you know what that is, in the south at that horrible day, and she barely made it alive out of there. So I don't want to think
Okay. Well, hopefully you'll be safe. You and your loved ones.
Yeah, like I said, I have a shelter, a special shelter room next to me in my apartment. I'm okay. I am, you can say, privileged. Still, to take this alert in 4 in the morning, 5 in the morning, 2 in the morning, that's
Okay. So, well, I guess if you drop off suddenly, I'll know what happened, but be safe. But
yeah, if I will need to go and there will be an alarm, then I will tell you, and probably 10 minutes or so I will be in the shelter.
Okay,
I'm
gotcha.
okay.
Okay, so I'm wondering in her case, or just in I do think a lot of women get validation by taking somebody else's man. Hey Tiff, what's that face for?
She heard what I said. That is what this face for.
Yeah, but I think some women do get validation from taking somebody else's man. So in this case, this is my thing, right? You never know who's insecure. Like, I don't feel like she should be insecure, but I don't think really. I really don't think there's a relationship, unfortunately. Well, I don't think there's really a linear relationship between attractiveness and self-esteem or insecurity. Which I think is surprising, but I think a lot of times people that are more attractive are actually okay, Tiff. But I think a lot of times people who are more attractive are actually more insecure. And I always thought that was peculiar or particular, maybe because they feel like they have more to lose. You know what I mean? Like if they feel like people always telling them they pretty and stuff like that, or it feels maybe precarious, like they want to keep reminding themselves that they have it, or they don't want to lose it, or whatever like that. Maybe, I don't know. But in her case, I don't know if other people's men are more attractive to her because of like reasons of validation, or if she just don't give a damn. If she want him, she want him. She don't care who think that's their man. It's her man now. I don't know. I don't know what the difference is. But I was wondering if there are other benefits to basically observing somebody that's already in a relationship and deciding whether you want to make this your man. Because I do kind of feel like if the person is single, and it's gonna sound like I'm promoting this behavior, and I'm definitely not. I'm just trying to consider it from different angles. But let's just say you meet somebody, they're single. You know what they tell you. You know what I mean?
I have a question.
Yeah.
The woman that we see in the screen, you are talking about her, yes?
Yes, that's what I'm talking about.
Yeah, you know, she when I look at her right now, and she looks beautiful, but she's not. Excuse me, she's not very beautiful. You know, you can find a lot of beautiful women like her here or in the USA.
So that's the thing. Everybody's gonna have a different opinion on what they consider beautiful, but I
Excuse me, there is alarm now. I needed to go.
okay. All
Uh,
right, be safe. Be safe.
yeah, thank you.
Sorry, be safe. Um, but obviously people have a different opinion on what they consider to be beautiful, but I would say she's widely considered to be, like, in her prime, widely considered to be one of the most beautiful women in the world, right? And I put my stamp of approval on it. You know, I put my stamp on it. That's fine. Wait, is he do it? Hello?
Hello?
Yeah.
Oh, I thought he dropped down.
Yeah, I thought he did too. I think he meant to. I don't know.
Okay. All right.
I'm just gonna
Sorry.
put it back there. Vigoda, if you want to join, just type, because I don't want to be like broadcasting, you know. But yeah. So I don't know if she has a thing for other people's men, or if she just don't give a damn. Like, you know, she like, okay, I want him. But yeah. But I was saying, what was I saying? Shit, I was saying something else. Oh yeah. So if you meet somebody and they're single, you really don't know anything about them, but like if you meet somebody in they're in a relationship, do you kind of get like an inside scoop on what they would be like, or whether you actually want them or not? You see what I'm saying? Like, is there a benefit in snatching somebody else's man? Does that prove that, okay, he chose me even though he was with somebody already and already happy? Or like, as opposed to you meet somebody single and he's just messing with me just because I'm there or I'm available? You know what I mean? I'm just throwing that out there. Like, what benefit could there be to wanting somebody that's already taken? Does that mean he really wants you? You know what I mean? Is that the point? Is that the point?
I think that, you know, for people that have personality disorders, there's that. But I think outside of that, at least a woman knows that he's a marriage-minded person because he's in a marriage.
Okay, I see what you're saying. Yeah.
So maybe I can steal him and get him to marry me.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah,
Well, that's crazy.
You know what? Stranger things have happened. Yeah. Because look at Laura Dern, for example.
Yes.
She was engaged. She had 2 long-term engagements that blew up in her face. So there was the Billy Bob Thornton, which was horrible. And then there was the Jeff Goldblum, who strung her along for ever.
Jeff Goldblum is my boo.
Your boo strung her along forever. And then he up and married a woman half his age.
That's what I'm saying. So a lot of times you can think somebody is your man, but he not. He just with you just because you're convenient or something like that. And I think that maybe that's what makes them feel more secure as far as like taking somebody else's man, because it's like, okay, well, he was with her and, you know, it took them this long to do this, but I can snatch him and I can make him do it in a month, you know, or 6 months or whatever.
Yeah, see, I don't look too favorably upon women that do that.
I don't either, but I'm gonna give her a pass. Like I said, I like her, but they don't mean it's okay. But at the same time, like I said, I feel like people aren't perfect. Yeah, I think when you look at a person as just like a package, they aren't perfect.
Well, okay, so I would say I've spent my time studying a man, and I've determined that, you know, I like him.
Yeah.
And so I put my vision, you know, get in his line of sight and talk to him and chat with him and, you know, get dates. And so then he, you know, maybe he takes me down the aisle in 1.5 years, 2 years. Yeah. And then I start investing in him as my spouse. I invest time, money, love, blood, sweat, and tears, because I think that this person is my life partner. Right. So I'm doing all of this and making these sacrifices and having sex when I don't want to, cooking when I don't want to, cleaning when I don't want to. And what do you mean you think you love somebody else.
Yeah,
What?
but and that's you know what, because men ain't shit, you know. And I hate to
Mhm.
put it like that, but honestly, that's what it comes down to is men ain't shit. And you could say she ain't shit. Yeah, she ain't shit for that. She ain't shit for that.
Yeah.
But at the same time, it's like he knows that woman. You know what I mean? He
Mhm.
loved so or did love her. He knows she loves him, and he's still willing to betray her and break her heart. So I mean, I gotta put that on him. She ain't right.
Mhm.
But I guess she said, you know, shit, I'm Angie. I'm gonna do what I want to do. You know, I guess that I don't know. That's the only thing I can think. Okay, so this is another thing I wanted to talk about.
Mhm.
Do good girls lose? Do good girls lose? Because I think good girls finish last. That's what I think, man. That's what I think. Um,
Mm.
and that's what I was talking about as far as like the benefit of catching him on like on a downswing and stuff like that. I don't know if that was strategic or if he just happened to be with somebody else, but like I said, you can try to do things the 100% the right way, you know, and just be like, oh well, no, I'm gonna make sure that he's single. I don't, you know, I don't want anybody that's married or that's living with somebody or engaged or whatever like that. You can do all that shit and still get messed over. But I think the thing is that, like, let's just say she snatched him. He was somebody man and she snatched him, right?
Mhm.
Um, that means it's like she knows that she kind of has him under her thumb. You know what I mean? Like
Mhm.
that makes sense. So
Yeah.
it's kind of like in a way her relationship is a little bit more secure. Even though people say how you get him is how you lose him, I don't necessarily believe that. I do think somebody that's a compulsive cheater is just a compulsive cheater, you know, but
Mhm.
maybe that wasn't the situation with him. That could have not been the case with him. He could have just been like, um, how do I oh yeah, he could it just could have been like, well, you know, that's what I thought I wanted, but then I found out that I wanted something else. That's what I'm thinking, you know.
Mhm.
But
Yeah.
yeah,
Well,
do do
yeah.
good girls finish last. Wait, do good girls finish last because like I said, she won that battle, right? Not the person who married him, not the person who met him when he was single, you know, not the person that was his fiance for a while. She lost, you know. I feel like what am I trying to say? Okay, so yeah, like I said, I think okay, here's the question. Here's the ultimate question, right? Is he really
Mhm.
down for you or is he just down on his luck? Is he really down for you or is he down on his luck? Is he with you because he actually wants you like that or just because you're the only one that's there? Which kind of relationship would you want? You want the man that wants you regardless, right? Not just the man
Mhm.
that said, okay, I'll take you just because you're down on your luck. So yeah, it's very humbling to have somebody come by and snatch your man, but at the same time it's kind of like, well, you know, you know what I mean?
Well, okay. So I think that a man can have a moral core.
Mhm.
You know, he won't be tempted to steal, even if it looks easy, like nobody's watching and you don't see surveillance cameras and oh, it's cash.
Mhm.
Some men will not do it. They won't steal. And I think there are men out there who won't cheat.
Uh-huh. Really? Think
Yeah,
so?
I do think there are men out there who won't cheat.
Hmm. Think they're few and far between, but you know, because
Um,
I didn't hear any cheating allegations when it came to them. Yes, Lena,
oh, wait a
he,
minute. Wait a minute. Now,
were they?
Brad was something of a Lothario in his young age.
Yeah, I know he used to mess with Robin Givens. Well, I heard that he did. Maybe I don't know.
Julie and Juliette Lewis
Okay,
and
okay.
and Gwyneth Paltrow.
Yeah, I remember that. I remember that.
He was a love him and leave him type of guy.
Yeah. Yeah. So, but you know what? He didn't leave Angelina. Angelina left his ass. But yeah.
Yeah,
Lena. Yes. He was married to Jennifer Stupid Face. What was her name?
Aniston. Yeah,
Jennifer Aniston.
yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, he was that Billy Bob tattoo, bro. But yeah, he was married to her. So yeah, she definitely knew that he was married. But yeah, so I doubt this had anything to do with like why she did it. But yeah, I do think nice girls do finish last, and people that try to do things the right way finish last. Cause you could be trying to do shit the right way and end up with a motherfucker that don't even really like you like that, you know? Whereas you might have had to snatch somebody else's man, but you actually with somebody that actually wants you, you know? I don't know. And it's like I said,
Okay.
I'm not
Look,
wait, look. Okay, go ahead, go ahead.
okay, so it's not that if you do things the right way, you're just going to end up losing. This is the reason I work and pay taxes. I could, try to, you know, earn a living doing something immoral,
Mm-hmm.
or sponging and mooching off of people. I could do that, but that's, I don't want to. It's
Yeah,
not in me.
yeah.
So it's also not in me to be a homewrecker. I don't steal and poach other people's guys.
Yeah.
And I'm not going to do it because I think it's wrong.
Yeah.
And also, sometimes women snap,
Oh yeah,
you
yeah,
know?
yeah,
Yeah. Because, Jennifer Aniston moved on. Some women won't move on.
true. And you know what? I feel bad for Jennifer Aniston because every time I think about her, I think about that. It's just like, damn, like nobody wants to be known as the woman that got left, like for somebody else. That gotta
Yeah.
hurt.
And look, Laura Dern, I don't even know how she gets up in the morning. She
Yeah.
got done bad twice.
And that's how you know, like that's what I mean. She had too much trust in them because she's out here living with somebody for 2 years, which isn't that long compared to like
Mhm.
what other people are doing. But she living with him, and he's talking about, oh, we're gonna get married, and they might well have gotten married. But you mean to tell me he gets to just meet somebody else once and they married? Like you just turn on the
And
TV and they're
he
fucking married?
she
You know,
never hears from him again. No
yes,
apology, no nothing.
that's crazy. That's
Yeah.
fucking crazy. Yeah, you got to be real like self-composed to just take that shit on the chin because I don't
Yeah.
know, man. That would have been bad. Like that
Yeah.
would have been bad. I ain't even lying. So yeah, but it makes you. And then you said she waited patiently for Jeff Goldblum.
Yeah.
I didn't know he married
I
somebody with him. He was so fine to me in Jurassic Park and Independence Day. I don't know, something about him.
Yeah. Well, let me see how long he was with her. Let's see. How long did Laura Dern date Jeff Goldblum?
Well, I didn't know he was married to Gina Davis. I did not know that.
5 years.
Yeah, so men will do you
So
dirty, and that's the thing. Men will do you dirty. So, you just gotta know when to like. You just gotta know when the shit ain't looking right and when to cut it off. That's what I'm gonna say. That like
yeah. So
don't
yeah, they dated for 5 years from 1992 to
yeah.
1997. The couple met while filming Jurassic Park and were reported to be engaged in 1995 before breaking up 2 years later.
That's what I'm
Lord have
saying.
mercy.
They were, and I be trying to, man, these men, these men really ain't shit. Because I remember, okay, so my ex, like I guess you could say I have two main exes,
Mhm.
but I would say my main ex that I was in love with, like we was together for like almost 4 years, but when we were together, like most of the time we were in school and he was still in school. He was working on his PhD. Yeah, he was working on his PhD. So of course I wanted him, right? He was Nigerian.
Yeah.
I wanted him. And he was a beautiful smile, beautiful, big, beautiful smile. But after a certain point in time, he did talk about marriage a couple of times, but after a certain point in time, it's like it gotta be leaning towards that direction. It shouldn't be getting farther away from that, right?
Mhm.
So at a certain point in time, if you feel like, okay, it doesn't seem like this is where this is going, you got to know when to cut the shit off. And I think a lot of women have issues with that. You know what I mean? Because yeah, a lot of women don't know when to cut their losses. I remember I was talking to my professor, she's like my mentor. I call her Big Sis, but that's my friend. But she was like, how long have y'all been together? And I said, she's white. Keep in mind, she's white, so they know how shit works, right? So I said like almost maybe at the time it was like let's just say it was 3.5, let's just say almost 4 years. And she was
Mhm.
like, oh, Choco Kitty. You know what I mean? Like she was
Mhm.
basically letting me know, like, no,
Yeah.
if he ain't proposed yet, get the fuck out of there. That's what she was letting me know. Because keep in mind, she got married after 6 months, but that's when a motherfucker really wants you. But when somebody's
Mhm.
okay, well, I might want her, or there's other shit out there that could be just as good. I don't know. Then that's when they're gonna that's when they're gonna stall on you. You know what I mean? And I'm trying to tell my sister this right now because she letting somebody stall on her right now, and I'm just like, why are you still talking to this dude? Why? And like she asked me how I felt. I just told her how I felt that one time. I don't bring him up. You know,
Mhm.
I just feel like you grown. You're gonna do what you want to do. Like if you really want to do this, then go ahead and do it. But I mean, I'm letting you know that you're wasting your fucking time. I'm letting you know that. So
Yeah.
everybody.
Unfortunately, men, they like to monkey branch.
Yeah,
They
exactly.
want, they're swinging off of one limb, reaching out for the other. So they're not going to let you go until they got their hands wrapped around the other option.
Yeah, and that's the thing. Why be the one? At least be the one to let his ass go. Why the
Yeah.
fuck you want to wait till he finds somebody else before he dump your ass? Like, girl, have some self respect. But like I said, this is why I feel like, and that's fucked up. What happened to Laura Dern?
Hmm.
Because usually I think white women have better luck than that.
Yeah.
she just met the wrong person twice, you know.
Yeah.
But I think that shit like that is why, like, if men feel like women are making it too hard for them, it's shit like that. That's the reason why. Because she trusted that, the first guy had good intentions. She moved in with him. She was patient, and he played her. She trusted the second guy, you know what I mean, and was patient. And now she's thinking, well, first of all, well, anyway, I'm not gonna go there, but guess what she's thinking now? Like, okay, if I could do it again, I would only give him this amount of time, or I would, expect this. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But she can't go back, So I try to operate like that just from the jump. You know what I mean? Yeah, that's how I try to operate from the jump because there's no point in going out here and wasting your time. Now, my ex that I was talking about, like I said, we were both in
Mm.
school, so that I think that extended like what a reasonable time frame would be. But like I said, you should still have some idea of like, okay, what is there a plan? If there's no plan, then is he just waiting till you get out of school so he can boss up on your ass? You know what I mean? And and replace you? Like, no, we can actually go our separate ways now. No thanks. I'm good. I'm good. So yeah,
Yeah.
I don't know if I have anything else in regards to her. But Julia Roberts did have a similar situation. Um,
Hmm.
Julia Roberts' situation is a little bit different in the sense that the person that she snatched up, he wasn't exactly famous. And also so I guess she had way more money than him and his wife, and also they're still together. Um,
Hmm.
Julia Roberts and the guy that she's with. So I'm gonna pull them up, and I really like Julia Roberts too.
You look. You love these man stealing heifers.
I don't know, like, I didn't even like, it's crazy. And you know what? She Julia Roberts, boy, like, and that's crazy because you could see somebody and be like, oh no, she's real nice or whatever.
Mhm.
Shit,
I
shit,
remember the guy, he worked behind the scenes in the film industries, like he was some sort of
yeah,
lighting technician or whatever.
yeah,
And
yeah,
his wife's name was Vera.
yes,
And yeah, I
yes,
remember when she wore that
yes,
aloe vera. And I was like, look at this
yes,
heifer. You you
yes,
ain't ish.
yeah.
Hmm.
I'm still team Julia Roberts. I'm sorry. I like her. I'm fucking sorry. I like her. you know,
Hmm.
but hey, she could have made some better choices, in her life when she was coming up, but they ain't perfect.
Yeah.
So, um, let me see. Let me put her up on the big screen. Put her up on the big screen. Um I hope Vagoda is all right. I don't know. I don't even agree with like, you know, but I hope he's okay. Just say that.
Do you
Um,
know him?
I've seen him like around these
Hmm.
parts. Um, and
Yeah.
I'm polite to people when I meet him. You know what I mean? He didn't
Yeah.
do anything to me. I don't really, I don't agree with all that shit, but
Yeah.
people are gonna be a product of their environment. So I mean, um, okay, so trying to see I'm trying to find like a cute picture of her because I think she was real pretty. My mama said she's not. She said, "How they gonna make a movie called Pretty Woman and she not pretty?" I was like, "What? What?"
Well, you know what? She has a unique look.
Yeah, and I like people that have a unique type of look. I do. I like that. Okay, let me see. God damn it. Okay, I'm gonna get to her in a second. I should have had my shit ready. Okay, well I'm gonna put it on this. I hate these little AI things, but I'm gonna just go ahead and do this because whatever, give you a kind of a good idea. But okay, so she was with Benjamin Bratt. I did my little research because I promise you I don't care about celebrity gossip at all. But she was with Benjamin Bratt, and he was married to Vera Steinberg, and she met him on the set of The Mexican, and she was actually working with Brad Pitt, as it happens. She was working with Brad Pitt in that movie. Here we go. And so somehow, some way, she fell in love.
Nice to be back.
Okay, I'm glad you're okay.
Yeah, I'm okay.
Yeah.
What I know, a little bit of noise of boom.
Yeah.
And yeah. So, my ladies, what I missed?
Oh, so I would say the last thing I said about when I was talking about Angelina is what was I saying?
This is Angelina?
No, that's not her. But I was saying do good girls lose. Do good girls lose. Like I think some people learn earlier on like how to play the game, and sometimes you gotta cheat to win, and that sounds messed up. It does. But I'm saying, is this a lesson they learned early on? Is that what it is? Or is it just some type of affluenza where you weren't actually raised to really give a damn about other
I have a small question.
Yeah.
If I may. This now she looks different, but earlier she looked like the actress from the first movie of the Freddy Krueger movies.
Oh, I know who you're talking about.
Yeah,
you're saying it because she got curly hair. I think that's why you're saying that. I know who you're talking
no,
about.
not just because of this. Also something with the face, but in the beginning, now when she became blonde and stuff, now she does not look like it.
Yeah, what's that girl's name? I'm trying to.
I know the faces of your celebrities, but I don't know their names.
You're talking about this girl.
The only celebrities are.
What you're saying, but I think people be saying people look alike just because they have curly hair and stuff. So I'm not sure who you're talking about, but I think that girl's pretty too.
I just thought of her name. It's Heather L. something.
Heather, I can't think. Heather something.
Maybe she doesn't speak or sees or see. Get it, Heather? That's the. Yes, that's her.
Yeah, that's her, Heather. Yeah, I don't even know, bro.
Yeah. I once volunteered. I once volunteered with some woman that looked a little bit like her. Yeah.
Yeah, I think curly hair is pretty, so I don't know why people be trying to get rid of it. But yeah, actually, she kind of reminds me of Mariah Carey too when she was younger. I'm getting off topic, but
she also has a little bit of Michael Jackson in her in terms of face. A little bit. Come on. Come on. You see a little bit of Michael Jackson in her. Come on.
You're funny.
A little bit, something in the face. Something in the maybe the way the shape the way of the face, the shape of the face.
All right, I'm gonna get back on topic in like 30 seconds, y'all. But other than Mariah Carey, y'all saw the Lost Boys? The Lost Boys.
Oh, I know who you're talking about.
From when it is?
Jamie Gertz.
Yes. I think she's pretty too. Let me
From
see.
when The Lost Boys is?
It's a movie from I think the
a
80s,
vampire movie.
80s,
late
huh?
80s, late 80s, mid
A
80s.
decade, 12 years before my time.
Where are
Actually,
you?
that
Where are
girl.
you from?
I already said it. Actually, I already said where I'm from, my dear, but you want me to give you a little clue?
Wee wee.
Okay. Unfortunately, in the nights, I need to run to a shelter because I get missiles from the north and from Iran to where I live. That's where I. Okay, that's a clue
Oh,
from
you're
where I am.
Israeli?
Yes, and and please, if you have something controversial to say to me or some, that you think that I am a horrible person because of who I am, please not in here. Okay, I came for
Oh no,
a fun
I like Israelis. I like Jewish people. I do think the Mossad is awful.
Why?
Your intelligence agency is awful.
Mm.
If you are talking about the failure during the 7th of October, then the Mossad was not involved in Gaza
No,
in that
I
time.
mean
But
Jeffrey Epstein. Hmm.
well, and I agree that it's horrible that you had to do stuff with him. But sometimes in order to get stuff, you need to work with demons, especially unfortunately.
Mm.
Yeah, it. For example, in Japan, you have the Yakuza, and the government in Japan works with them. And even if they're horrible, still, you can't. Sometimes you need to work with demons in order to win.
Well, look, when you work with demons, you become demonic.
Not necessarily. You need to put a. You need to know where to stop, but still, not everybody is innocent.
Mm.
Okay. Well,
For
look,
example, in World War II, for
again,
example.
listen.
Hmm?
Again, I no problems with Israelis, no problems with Jews.
Yeah, my dear, you can. It's okay
Big,
to give,
big,
to give your
big, yeah.
opinion. It's okay.
Big problem with Epstein and Mossad. And with that, stay safe and good night.
Mm.
Thank you.
All right. All right. Good
Well,
night. Stop
good
either.
night.
Um, let's see. Oh yeah, so the last thing I was saying with regards to Angelina, I was talking about do good girls finish last? Do good girls lose? Have they figured out a part of the game that these other women have not figured out? All the other women who are trying to play fair, are they playing themselves because they're trying to play fair? You're gonna lose because the thing is, if you're playing fair and everybody else is cheating, then you're gonna lose, right? So I'm not advocating cheating, nothing like that. But I'm just saying, yo. I think good girls finish last, to be honest. Um,
Isn't that I have a question. Isn't that sentence isn't from the movie? Isn't from Jim Carrey? Nice guys finish last.
I mean, I don't know, but that is a saying it's a popular saying. Nice guys finish last. That's a popular saying.
Yeah,
Um,
this what you said is from that sentence. No,
huh?
the feminized version of what you
Yes,
said is yeah,
yes,
yeah, like I
yeah.
thought.
So Julia Roberts. So, like I was saying, she was dating Benjamin Bratt, and she was working with Brad Pitt on the set. She was working with him, and they were both starring in the movie called The Mexican. And The Mexican is about a gun, as far as I know. But one of the either directors or producers or somebody who worked behind the scenes was a man named Daniel Moder, and she, I guess, took a liking to him. And she basically, like, apparently, I don't know, let me just make sure I got the story right. But apparently she was like harassing his wife to like sign the papers, and she paid his wife off because she was like, yeah, I want your man. And they got together and they had a bunch of kids. I think they got like 3 kids. And so yeah, they're still together. So I would say they of course, the story is never over, right? Until somebody's dead. But I would say they had more of a happy ending because they're still together. Um, It's Lena Love, exactly. Exactly. Like saving it for who? Saving it for what? Was she white? Because what was her racial background? Let me know. Okay, so
Who you ask me?
oh
Who
no,
did
no,
you
no.
ask?
No, no, I'm talking to somebody in the chat.
Okay.
Talking in the chat. So yeah, so um, now I do think stepping back to Angelina for a second, I do think if Brad and Jennifer had had kids, I do think that she would not have behaved the same way because I think Angelina got a soft spot for kids, and I think a lot of times just the fact that somebody does have kids makes the situation seem more serious. You know what I mean? So I don't know. I
Yeah.
could be wrong, but I don't think because in the case of the two men that I know of that she did snatch, neither one of them had kids with the woman that they were with. So I'm gonna choose to believe that she would not have behaved that way if they had had kids together. So, but yeah, like I said, well, like I was saying, Julia Roberts' current husband, Daniel Motor, he did not have kids with the woman that he was with prior to that. So, I
I
did
have a
ask,
question.
sure, sure.
Yeah. In what famous movie Julia Roberts played?
Pretty Woman, my favorite movie, like in the whole world, like one of my three favorite movies. My favorite
Okay, I
movie is
don't know it.
Pretty Woman. Okay, you
Um,
need to watch that movie. You need to watch that movie. Yeah, you
I
need
am
to.
in comedies and horrors, my dear. If
It's a
it's some soap drama, then it's
it's
not
a
my
romantic
subject.
comedy. It's a romantic comedy. Um,
Probably from the 90s.
yes, from the 90s when she was
Yeah.
America's sweetheart. Yes. So
Okay. She still look like a sweetheart. Sweetheart.
uh-huh. Yeah, so what was I saying? Shit. Oh yeah. I was saying I did ask ChatGPT to kind of like assess Julia Roberts and Daniel Motors relationship using the same frameworks that I went over. Okay, so it says, let's take the Julia Roberts Daniel Motor situation and run it through each framework carefully using what's broadly reported. Julia Roberts met Daniel Motor on a film set. Motor was married to Vera Steinberg at the time. Their relationship became public before his divorce was finalized. Roberts and Motor later married. Key moral tension, possible overlap, divorce transition, eventual long term partnership. Okay, so if we look at under the moral framework of deontology, duty and promises, um, it's likely morally wrong during the overlap period because marriage is a clear promise or commitment. If Motor engaged romantically before ending that commitment, that violates his duty to his spouse. If Roberts knowingly participated, she's participating in a breach of that duty. Okay, nuance. Once the marriage is ended, the relationship becomes permissible. So the bottom line is the wrongdoing isn't finding a better partner, it's violating commitments before formally ending them. Okay, so if we look at it under the framework of utilitarianism, outcomes, harm versus happiness, which I favor this framework. The short term is likely negative because of emotional harm to Steinberg, public humiliation, and stress and conflict. Long term, the result is mixed because Roberts and Motor have led a long, stable marriage. Or have had a long, stable marriage. If the relationship produced lasting happiness, that counts positively. So the key tension is: do short term harms outweigh long term gains? Um, I'm gonna say yeah. So I'm not one of those people that believes in using people as a means to an end. But because we only live once, and because that woman that he was with deserves somebody that really loves her, that's not gonna leave her for somebody else, I'm gonna say yes. That short term harms do outweigh long term gains because sometimes you just gotta feel the pain. You gotta let it burn. You know what I mean? Because like I was talking about my ex, I didn't want to break up with him, but shit, you just gotta do what you gotta do. You know.
Yeah. It depends, of course, why, how, and when, and other stuff. But still,
Yeah.
yes.
Bayou Bunny said something one time that I thought was really intelligent. She said, I'm not quoting her exactly, but she said something like they got a lot of people that are still in, these relationships. I don't know if she was talking about romantic or just with other like friendships. She said because they're not willing to do the emotional labor to move past it. I just remember her saying emotional labor, and that's true. It's like you're putting it off because it's coming anyway, but you just don't want to deal with it now. You know what I mean? So, I think a lot of times people just got to realize that you got to let the person go. And that kind of reminds me of Alicia Keys and Swiss Beats and Mashonda which Swiss Beats is a hound dog anyway, so it's not like that was he had a whole lot of mess going on. So I'm not even gonna say that's the same thing because I'm sure he's still cheating wherever he is. But Mashonda was basically trying to tell Alicia Keys, please step back and let me handle my marriage, like, you know. And Alicia Keys,
Mashanda, that's her name.
that was Swiss Beats ex-wife's name.
Sweet Space. What
Yeah,
kind
so
of name? Excuse me, but what kind of name is that?
Swiss Beats, that's his you know, professional name. That's not his
Stage
real-
name, okay.
Yeah, his stage name. So yeah, but Mashonda was like, please, can you please step back and let me just get my house in order? And Alicia Keys was like, no. But the thing is, it's like, if you need another woman to step back for you to get your house right, then that's not your man. Let her come get her man. Let her come get her man. Now, in that case, it was kind of messed up because she did have a child by him. But the thing is, he already had cheated on her. He had gotten another woman pregnant. She and another woman were pregnant at the same time, and she lost her baby, and the other woman did not. So the child she had with him was actually her second pregnancy. So that's crazy as fuck, right? That's crazy. It's like at some point, it's like, girl, let it go. You know, that's not your man. Let it go. Let it go. So anyway,
I see that you have interest in a lot of celebrities and definitely know about them.
no, I don't. Trust me, I don't. I don't care about this type of stuff. It's just stuff
Okay.
that I barely know.
If you know what, if I think about it, if you would ask me what was my celebrities, well, of course, I will talk first about Israeli celebrities. But if you ask me about who is the American celebrities that I think like, or at least respect, then I will put Michael Jordan in definitely in the top
really?
five. Michael Jordan, I think. In terms of performance, I think I will also put what his name, the guy that played the mask, and what is it? Jim Carrey.
Okay.
Yeah, definitely those two will be in the top five.
Let's see. Wait. Okay, so okay, utilitarianism. Okay, I did go through that.
From
Okay,
where
so
you are reading?
I'm reading ChatGPT.
Oh,
Yeah.
you know, ChatGPT is a good tool, but if you want to be if you want to be 100% sure about the accuracy, then you should ask for sources. If
Oh
you
yeah. Well, this is
because in terms of my stuff with ChatGPT, I asked them once about ancient civilizations in South America, and he told me that they used kangaroo bones. And I asked him again, and he said that it's not. So the way that you use the way that you asked him or whatever, he can change his answer in 90 degrees in a second.
True. Hopefully they have the tenets of each framework basically right. So I'm just asking them to assess this publicly known situation according to each moral framework. So it's not really too much involved. Yeah, I just think it's kind of like a shortcut as opposed to me going out and doing it myself, you know. So I just let it, you know. Okay, so virtue ethics, character, focus. What does this behavior say about character? Concerns, possible disloyalty, motor, and lack of restraint or respect if overlap occurred, and insensitivity to others' dignity. But also, leaving a relationship that isn't working can reflect honesty eventually, and courage to change one's life. Bottom line, mixed. The way it began may reflect poor character traits, but the long term commitment may reflect stability and devotion. Okay, care ethics, relationships, and emotional impact. Focus, who was hurt and how were they treated? Likely critique, Steinberg's position, loss of partner, public scrutiny. If the transition lacked empathy or care, it's morally problematic. But also considers were efforts made to end things respectfully, minimize harm. The bottom line, the moral weight falls heavily on how much emotional care was shown during the transition. Okay, so like I said, I just think in this case, this is not that lady's man. Let me tell you how much it's not her man. I couldn't even find a picture of her and her husband together. I couldn't find a picture of Daniel Moder and his first wife together. But as we know, like I said,
Yeah, I'm looking right. I wonder from where is the prize, the trophy that she's holding right now.
oh, I don't know. Um,
Just wondering.
yeah, I don't know. Shit, what was I about to say? Yeah, but they have 3 kids now. So I'm gonna put that picture up. So yeah, I feel like let's just say it might have been dirty the way it happened, and I think that this is just what I heard that Julia Roberts was having people kind of like harass the woman and to sign the papers and stuff like that because I guess she was dragging her feet on signing the papers. Um,
She has 3 kids. You said.
huh?
Let's see the
Yeah,
pic. You said. Let's see the picture.
I'm gonna show it.
Yeah.
Uh, yeah, so that's their kids. So,
Oh, how
yeah.
cute.
So my
They
thing
look
is,
like people from the Harry Potter movie. At least the kids in the ginger kid.
yeah, yeah, him,
He
yeah,
look like Ron Weasley.
yeah. So my thing is, who is his ex-wife to get in the way of destiny? Who is she to get in the way of destiny? Because I feel like once you get that far in that's Julia Roberts, man. Unfortunately, it's not your man, ma'am. It's Julia Roberts, man. So yeah. Existentialism, authenticity, and responsibility. View: people should not live in inauthentic relationships. If Motor no longer loved his spouse, leaving is authentic, but you must fully own your choices. No hiding behind "it just happened and we fell in love." Bottom line: acceptable if he acknowledged the truth of his feelings, took responsibility for the harm caused. Social contract view: core idea. Marriage is an agreement with clear expectations. Um, Overlap is a violation of the contract. Divorce first, then new relationship is acceptable. Which, like I said earlier, I think that's bullshit. But bottom line, the issue is procedural fairness. Did he exit the contract before starting a new one? Okay, putting it all together. Well, I already kind of did this. It's kind of really the same thing. They said the same thing for both relationships. Okay, but here's another part. It says the deeper insight. What makes this case interesting is that it highlights a core moral tension. Is it worse to stay in an unfulfilling relationship out of duty or leave in a way that causes harm? Um, I just gotta say it's better to leave in a way that causes harm. And I don't even agree with that type of stuff. Like I really don't. Um, I hate that, things like that even exist. Um, but at the same time, like a man is gonna he's gonna oh Steve Hartman I'm gonna get to that, but a man is gonna be where he wants to be, right? So it's like some women don't mind a man going out and cheating and as long as he come home to them, but you know, I guess if he leaves, that's a whole nother different proposition. I don't know. Like I just feel like whatever he does, that's the type of man that he is. You know what I mean? And it not even about it him being right or wrong or even finding love is right or wrong. I'm not even talking about that. But what I'm saying is let's just say him leaving you and his kids makes him a bad person. If he does that, that just means he's a bad person. You know what I mean? You know?
Yeah,
Force him-
it sounds like a big telenovela.
Yeah, so you can't force him to stay because he doesn't want to be there. So why would you want him to be there if he doesn't want to be there? And if he's the type of person that doesn't want to be around you, doesn't want to be around his kids, that's just the type of person he is. You shouldn't want him anyway, you know.
Yeah,
So yeah, it's gonna hurt, but the hurt is caused by the fact that he doesn't want to be there in the first place, right? That's to me, that's the hurt, not the fact of him actually like leaving, you know.
yeah. You want to hear something funny? If I was the jump to this conversation this instant,
Mm-hmm.
then with no context,
Yeah.
I would probably think that you are talking about something that happened in the Big Brother show or something.
Oh no, I don't watch all that. Yeah, I don't know. I don't
Yeah,
watch it.
it's in general. It's remind me that once in the Big Brother show here, you had a married woman getting inside the house,
Mm-hmm.
and some guy hit on her, and she broke up, and she laid with the guy with the guy that broke that the guy that starts with her in the
Mm-hmm.
house, and the guy that she was engaged with got inside the house later on.
Mm-hmm. Mm.
Yeah, if you're talking about telenovela.
Okay.
Yeah, it
Yeah.
was a long time ago, but still.
Um. Yeah.
Yeah,
Like Stop Begging said, some people snap. That's another thing you got to worry about.
Some
Um,
people are screwy.
yeah. So I'm just gonna go run through the little list that I had as it relates to Julia
Also, the
Roberts.
guy, if I may ask, sorry for cutting you, first of
Go
all,
ahead.
but the guy in the father in the picture,
Yeah.
first of all, from when this picture is, and second, he looks like I don't know what's the name of the celebrity. He looks like the celebrity that played the Green Goblin in the Spider-Man movie
Oh,
in the early 2000s.
oh, I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. But he's not an actor. He's more like a producer or a director or something like that behind the scenes.
Okay,
Okay, so stop e-begging. You asked about Steve Harvey. Now, my understanding of Steve Harvey, he has like two ex-wives, am I right? And they're both black, right? And I just remember one of his ex-wives, she said that they used to like that she was holding him down and all that, and then they used to be stealing gas together because they couldn't afford gas. And of course, when he made it, he had to pop out with the biracialism. He was done with the black women. And I heard that he wouldn't do something. Maybe he didn't want to give one of his daughters or something like that, some money for their wedding, like maybe $40,000, and ended up giving somebody else more, like even more. Whether it's, I think it might be Lori Harvey, because Lori Harvey isn't his real daughter, but I guess she looks more like what he wanted his real daughters to look like. So, I mean, yeah, I'm gonna just say, you saying how do I feel about Steve Harvey? Let me tell you something. When you asking me about one of them, my answer is always gonna be he ain't shit. So you don't even have to ask me. Yeah, he ain't shit. That's my answer. Yeah, that's how I feel. All right, so but okay, so as far as taking somebody's man or husband, yeah, she did take her man. Um, but at the same time, I would say this situation is a little bit different only because this guy isn't famous and she had more money and power. Whereas with Brad and Angelina, Brad obviously is very, famous and well known and was very you know, very well liked and everything like that. So Angelina didn't have that power over him. He didn't have any more of an incentive to get. He didn't have a monetary incentive to get with Angelina. I'm gonna put it like that. Um. Okay, so morality and destiny. I would say in this case I would put destiny over morality. I don't know how long they were together. I don't know why they didn't have kids. And I'm not even a person that's like, oh, have kids, but if he's with somebody else, they're happy, they got 3 kids, just accept the fact that that wasn't your man. You move on with your life. It wasn't your man, it's her man. All right, so yeah, the depth of the relationship was superseded. I think that's the most important part. The depth of the initial relationship was superseded by the following relationship, in which the man was snatched. Um, do good people strive for moral perfection? I think Julia Roberts, from what I understand, she's a good person. I don't know. And of course, I don't know her like that, but all I can do is just take little signs and cues and stuff like that, and they'll give me a signal of whether I think she's a good person. I saw her, she had an Obama shirt on. So to me, she's a good person, period.
she had a what shirt on?
Obama.
Okay, so what is that has to do with a good or bad person?
I know, that's what I'm saying. I don't know her, but I'm taking like little signs and signals, and I'm saying that based on the fact that she had an Obama shirt on and how I feel about Obama, I'm going to classify her as a good person. I'm not saying she's actually a good person, but I'm just saying, just based on the signs and signals that I've seen, I think she's a person that's for democracy and racial justice. So, there was a clip where she was playing in this movie, and somebody asked, basically it was this black woman, and it was her, and it was a white man, and the whoever asked the question, he directed the question at them, like at Julia Roberts and the white man, but the question itself, it really should have been directed at the black woman. So she was like, okay, who are you asking? She didn't want to just come forward and answer for her, but she basically ceded the question to the black woman because she wasn't going to allow like them to treat her like she's invisible. So yeah, I like Julia Roberts. So
yeah. Say, what do you think about let's say some celebrities that some will say questionable by others? Like, let's, for example, Matt Walsh.
Matt Walsh is
Yeah.
was he a reporter or something?
He is an author and also a reporter. He's behind the short documentary movie "What Is a Woman."
Oh, wait, so what's your question?
What do you think? If what you have, what do you think about him? About you
I
know,
don't know.
celebrities, questionable celebrities like him. Well,
See, I
some
don't
say he's
know.
questionable.
I don't know anything about him. He's very young. He's 39. So I stopped paying attention to
He
him.
looks old though.
Yeah, but I stopped paying. He wouldn't have been out during the time when I paid attention to celebrities and stuff like that because I stopped caring about that like after high school. So I don't know who that is. And I was thinking I was going to see somebody other than who I actually saw once I Googled it. So I don't know. Yeah, but
Okay. If I may say, my dear, I
uh,
very recommend his documentary video "What Is a Woman," especially for
okay.
you. I recommend it.
All right. What is a woman? Does it
Yeah.
have to do with like trans and stuff?
Yes, but
Okay.
it's funny. There is a lot of there is a sad parts in it, but there is a lot of comedy in it.
Okay. I'm gonna check it out. I'm gonna check it out. If I can find it for free, I'm gonna check it.
Yeah, it's
Okay, so
yeah, it's free. And in general, if you want, I can give you a link or
sure,
an address of a website that you can see videos and movies for free.
sure. Can you put it in the back?
In the yes, just
Yeah.
it will take it will be well, it will be a little problematic, but yeah, I'm using my phone and my
Okay, no
spelling
worries.
is not the best, so
If
it
you
will take a
can,
little
if
bit of
you
time.
can, if not, don't worry about it. But I wrote it down. I'll look it up later.
Yeah.
Um, okay, so we already went through the definitions of the different frameworks of morality as it applies to this relationship. So do good people strive for moral perfection. I think she's a good person. But I think that, nobody's perfect. Um, and I don't think what she did makes her a bad person. She was behaving badly during that time because I think in this case she actually had more active, like she played a more active role in the dissolution of their marriage. It was more than just like her messing around with the guy, Daniel Motor. She was actually kind of like harassing his wife from what I understand, making jabs at her and basically like bribing her to sign the papers. So I'm going to show another picture. I'm going to show the aloe vera picture. Let's see. Okay. Yeah. So this shirt, they said it's handmade. I don't know, but basically his ex-wife's name, her husband, the one she wanted, his ex-wife's name or his wife's name at the time, her name was Vera. So the t-shirt, it says aloe vera. Obviously it's a play on aloe vera, but she's, I guess, saying Vera.
Nice one.
Yeah, she's saying Vera ain't shit, basically. I don't know how you're mad at the woman whose man you're taking. I don't know, but I mean, I don't know. I don't know. We don't know. That's crazy to me, but hey, it is what it is. So yeah, so she definitely played a more active role in the dissolution of her current husband's first marriage. So if that makes any difference, but oh yes, so you just can't trust some people around men, just like you just can't trust some people around money. Okay, so in her case, this was not her first foray into the bullshit. She was speaking of the Lost Boys, she was engaged to Kiefer Sutherland. Did you know that? Stop e-begging if you're still here.
Yes, I'm here.
No, so stop e-begging. Yeah, I don't imagine you would know this, but
Yeah. Why
she
stop? Why Mrs. Stop dropped off?
huh?
Why Mrs. Stop
Oh, I
dropped
don't know.
out of the?
I don't know. I guess something came up. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
It was nice to talk to you. To talk to her anyway.
uh-huh.
Yeah,
All right.
nice
So
lady.
this is Julia Roberts with her. He was her fiance for a bit. This is the guy from the Lost Boys. He was
It
like,
seems like, from what I see from here, it seems like there is a gap between the ages here.
I don't know.
She looks older than him.
She look
You
older.
may
I
say
don't know
a
about that.
yeah, she looks a decade older than him.
Oh no, we're not gonna do that. Nah. Um.
That's from what I see. Just saying. Okay, in the
No.
second picture now she looks younger.
Yeah, I
My
don't know
fault.
their age difference, but
Now
I'll
he looks older than her, actually.
yeah. So that's her with her ex fiance Kiefer Sutherland. He played in 24, but I know him from he also played in Taking Lives with Angelina Jolie, but I know him mainly from The Lost Boys because we used to watch that movie a lot when we were kids. So she was engaged to him. Tell me, stop begging. Did you know about this? So she was engaged to him. So like literally a few days before their wedding, guess who she ran off with? Guess who she ran off with?
I don't have a clue.
Yeah, Julia Roberts ain't shit, bro.
Maybe you can give me four answers and I will decide.
Okay, she ran off with Kiefer Sutherland's friend. I don't know if it was his best friend. I've read that it's his best friend or just his friend. But the guy from the other guy from The Lost Boys, his co-worker from The Lost Boys, because he was like the main vampire guy kid dude. And then this is the guy that's like he was one of the brothers who the movie was about. So she was literally a few days.
If I may ask a side question, The Last Boy, is there a vampire in The Last Boys movie?
Yes, it's a vampire.
Really?
Yeah, it's a good
Okay,
movie.
well then they can both are lost to each other. They are both lost. What I can say, we lost them.
Well, yeah. So she ran away. She actually coincidentally was in a movie called Runaway Bride. So what she did was she ran out of this marriage that she was supposed to marry him, like, a few days before she was supposed to marry him. She ran off with his co-star Jason Patric, and I don't know how long they were dating, but yeah. Oh wait, I'm thinking I'm sharing my shit. Okay, wait, yeah. Okay, I keep forgetting. Okay, so yeah, a few days before she was supposed to marry this guy, she ran off with this guy, and both of those guys were co-workers and friends. They were both co-stars in The Lost Boys. So yeah, she has a little bit of questionable history as well. So actually I was reading on what's the name of it, on Lipstick Alley. Somebody said somebody said basically Julia Roberts' philosophy is a bitch can get her man took quicker than her hand shook. You see what I'm saying? So basically they're saying she's not a girl's girl. A bitch can get her man a bitch can get her man took quicker than her hand shook. So she's known for stealing men too. She's known for doing that too. So I'm just gonna file.
Nice to know.
I'm gonna file both of them in the category of you just can't trust some people around your man, period. Okay, or your friend. I guess if you're her man, you can't necessarily trust her around your friend. And I'm gonna say that's different people have different personality flaws. So I'm just gonna say that is their personality flaw, but it does not make them a bad person overall, I would say. Because for them to be a bad person, you would have to have people saying like, oh, I met this person, they're an asshole, or they're hell to work with, and they treat people like this, they treat their kids like this, or they treat wait staff like this. But I haven't heard anything like that of them. They just they just like other people, man. That's all. They just they just crush a lot, I guess you could say. All right, so So is there someone out there that can have any man they want and you just have to accept it? So I mean, I think Julia Roberts was pretty in her heyday. But I don't know if I would put her in a category of being able to take any man she want. Yeah, that's a stretch.
Well, look at the positive side. At least she didn't get pregnant by your president. Like what's her name is? I forgot her name. Well, it's a rumor, but still.
Oh, I don't know what you're talking about. Okay, never mind. I don't know.
No, the Marilyn Monroe. There's a rumor that she got pregnant by one of your presidents.
Yeah.
That's why she lost her life.
Yeah.
Of course, that's a rumor, but still.
Marilyn Monroe. She's probably the type of woman that if she wanted your man, you would just have to get out the way. I'm just keeping it real, unfortunately, But Julia Roberts, I think she was really pretty, but I don't think it's that serious. Like I don't think she falls in that category, which is
Okay.
why she had to do some work to get her man. She had to do a little bit of stalking and harassing in order to get her man. But she's still pretty.
Yeah.
Let me see.
This is a
Did I
old
say she
picture of
was
her,
pretty?
no?
I feel like, huh?
This is an old picture of her, no?
Yeah, this is old. Yeah, but I
She's
feel like
probably look like Madonna right now, no?
what?
I said she's probably look like Madonna right now.
Not sure what you mean, but I'm going with no. Um,
Okay.
yeah, but what was I about to say? Yeah.
What I meant that Madonna does not look. It's look like
Oh,
she's overdoing it.
well, no, I think Julia Roberts is aging naturally. I think she is.
Okay.
Do I think she's aging gracefully? I mean, not really, but she's aging naturally, I would say. You know.
Yeah. Today
Um.
it's how to say to call anything right natural.
Okay, so I'm almost done with this. Trying to see. Okay. I wish I could make this bigger. But yeah, she was really pretty in this movie. She was really pretty in Pretty Woman. She was pretty in Pretty Woman. She was pretty in Sleeping with the Enemy. She was pretty in
Sleeping with the enemy, who is with who she was in bed. You mean
her husband was the enemy. It's a good
who
movie
was? Why he was the enemy? He
because
was from China or Russia?
he was abusive. Yeah, he was.
Oh,
Yeah. Anyway, I don't
that
want to
kind of
spoil it for
enemy.
you, but it's a good movie, so you should check it out. You
Yeah.
say you see Pretty Woman, you should
Wait,
definitely
what's the name of the movie again?
Sleeping with the Enemy.
Oh, well, 90s classics.
Yeah, even my
You
mama liked
know,
that movie.
I'm looking right now at the screen on her. I'm looking closely right now at her, and she looks like a celebrity that actually from here a little bit.
Okay, who you talking about?
No, some woman celebrity from here that you probably don't know, and I don't remember the name, but
Okay.
she looks a little bit similar to her.
Okay.
Yeah.
Let me see something. But I'm gonna finish going down a list, and then I think I'll be pretty much done.
Yeah, you know what? Actually, I have a question. What do you think about Gal Gadot?
Who?
Gal Gadot.
Oh, I know who you're talking about. She's pretty.
Yeah.
I don't really have any. I mean, I don't know anything about her. Other than that, she's tall. I think I like tall. Tall is good. If I'm gonna show who he's
Not
talking
that
about
tall, but yeah.
she's not that tall. She looks really tall. He's talking about the lady that played Wonder Woman.
Yeah, she played Wonder Woman. She played also a movie in here. Of course, a smaller movie, but
Yeah.
still.
She's 5'10", so I would say that's pretty tall.
How much? I don't know how much is 5'10", and here we count in meters and
Oh, yeah.
centimeters, but
Well, she's definitely tall for a woman.
okay. What is your what you would say is tall or not tall for a man? Just wondering.
I mean, I would say 6 feet is tall for a man, but it's not really that tall. But I mean, yeah, it's tall. 6 feet. Yeah, because as far as I
Okay.
know, as far as I understand, the average height for a man is 5'10".
Okay.
So,
Well, in my case specifically, I'm a meter and 80 centimeters. If I'm not mistaken, it's 5.9
okay,
or almost 6.
okay, okay,
Yeah,
gotcha. 5.9 feet. Okay,
around that or between that and 6.
okay.
Yeah, I'm considered a high person with a height, huh?
I have to do the math. So, but how you get him is how you lose him. I don't know if that's true in this case, because they're still together, and yeah. And is that man really down for you, or is he just down on his luck? I don't know. I think that this guy, I don't know. I don't know too much about how it happened, but I'm just gonna say this: just because of the money imbalance and the power imbalance, I'm gonna say that she did kind of strong arm him away from his wife. Of course, he didn't have to do it, but I'm just saying she had more to bargain with. Whereas Angelina Jolie and Jennifer Aniston, they were more on an even playing field as far as like money and power and celebrity, influence, things like that. Looks, no, but everything else, yes. And plus, Brad already has his own money, so I would say Brad made more of a his own conscious decision to leave. Because like I said, there wasn't things that Angie could hold over his head like money or power or whatever like that. So, do good girls lose? Yes, good girls lose. I'm just gonna say that good girls lose. Was there anything else I want to say on this live? Okay. All right. So ChatGPT said, if you want, we can go one level deeper and compare how public reaction to Jolie versus Pitt versus Aniston reflects gendered moral judgment. That's actually one of the most revealing parts of the case. So it says, this is one of the most revealing parts of the whole story because the moral judgment wasn't distributed evenly, even though if there was overlap, more than one person would have been involved. Let's unpack how the public reacted to Angelina Jolie, Brad Pitt, and Jennifer Aniston and what that says about gendered moral frameworks. You know what? When I was asking for like examples of celebrities, with basically overlapping relationships. I didn't use those words, but I just said examples of people who left somebody and married somebody else, or who married somebody who at the time they met was married to somebody else or whatever. And I asked for women specifically. And so ChatGPT was trying to offer like men, or they were, trying to phrase it differently. Because I guess ChatGPT felt like the way I was wording it was misogynistic, but I mean there was a specific point I was trying to make. But okay, so very quickly, the media and public settled into a simple triangle. Aniston is the wronged wife, Jolie is the homewrecker, and Pitt is the man who fell in love. That framing matters because it assigns moral roles, not just describes events. Asymmetry and blame. Angelina Jolie received the strongest moral condemnation, labeled with terms like homewrecker and other woman. Her behavior was framed as intentional, predatory, and morally deviant. Brad Pitt faced criticism, but often framed as conflicted or emotional. Narrative: he found his soulmate, less likely to be described as immoral or predatory, more likely to be psychologized than condemned. Jennifer Aniston, positioned as sympathetic, dignified, America's sweetheart. Her identity became tied to being wrong and being abandoned. So, what's behind this pattern? A gatekeeper expectation for women. There's a longstanding norm that women are responsible for upholding sexual or relational boundaries. So, when a relationship crosses a line, the woman outside the relationship is blamed for allowing it, tempting it, even though the man is the one breaking a commitment. This is why Jolie absorbed disproportionate blame. Male agency versus female moral responsibility. Men are often framed as driven by emotion, desire, or confusion, falling into relationships. Women are framed as calculating, choosing, and morally accountable for relational outcomes. So Pitt fell in love and Jolie chose to interfere. Archetypes: the good woman versus dangerous woman. The media leaned heavily on familiar archetypes. Jennifer Aniston is the good woman, stable, relatable, non-threatening. Angelina Jolie, the dangerous woman, sexual, unconventional, unpredictable. These archetypes existed before the relationship and shaped how it was interpreted. Punishment for violating norms. Jolie didn't just allegedly overlap relationships, she also didn't conform to traditional femininity at the time. She had a more openly sexual, unconventional public image. So the backlash wasn't just about behavior, it was about who she was allowed to be. How different moral frameworks played out socially. Interestingly, the public didn't apply one framework consistently, they mixed them. Toward Jolie, deontological judgment. Rules. She violated a marriage. Character judgment, virtue ethics. She's that type of woman. Toward Pitt, existential framing. He followed his heart. Consequentialist softening. Maybe the marriage wasn't right anyway. Same situation, different moral lenses applied to each person. Very interesting. Okay, the invisibility of the male breach. If we apply strict logic, the only person who made a promise in the marriage was Pitt. So under duty-based ethics, his violation is central, but culturally, his breach becomes secondary. Jolie becomes the primary moral actor. That's a major distortion. What research generally shows. Across studies in social psychology and gender norms, women are judged more harshly for sexual behavior, relational transgressions. People show attribution bias. Women's actions equal personality. She's manipulative. Men's actions equal circumstance. He fell in love. That's very interesting. Okay. A sharper way to see it. Neutral.
Just no, excuse me. I put in the private chat the link to the website. Also, of course, the name of the website itself. It's the name that you have between the letter T that starts with the letter T and ends with the letter V in the private chat.
Okay.
Okay,
Okay.
so
And so I will put that.
copy it and enjoy it.
Okay. So I will put .to or .com.
Yeah, also, if you go to that website, then of course use. I don't think it has viruses, but if I was in your shoes, I would put virus protection on my computer.
Okay, gotcha. I don't want my computer
Just
to get
saying,
these. All
but
right.
mine is okay in any case.
Okay. All right. So a sharper way to see it. If we strip away bias, neutral framing would be a married man developed feelings for someone else. He left his marriage and a new relationship formed. But the cultural framing became a woman disrupted a marriage. A man responded to that disruption. That shift changes who gets blamed. Now that's very interesting because that is kind of how I saw the situation taking place, which is like Angelina deciding that she wanted him. You see what I mean? Because I could be wrong, but like let's just say she didn't want to get with him. She wasn't interested. Then he would, I mean, I'm not saying he would still be with Jennifer today, but he would have still been with Jennifer that next year. You know what I mean? But so obviously Angelina's cooperation was required um in order to like for this to happen. But, I don't know. But at the same time, I feel like are men really passive like that? You see what I'm saying? Like, are men really passive to the point where, like, okay, well, if she decides she want to, fuck around with me, then I'll do it. But if not, then I guess I'll just go home to my wife. You see what I'm saying? Like,
Man, we are bastards in
yeah,
sometimes. What I can say?
that's what I'm saying. These men ain't shit, bro. Like,
Yes, we
oh,
are bastards.
your husband came home because his coworker rejected him. That's messed up, bro. Like,
The same stuff you can say about women, but never mind that.
I don't know about that, but dang, like that's why I'm like, just leave, man. If that's who you want, just leave. We ain't
Huh?
gotta, I'm saying like, no, I'm saying like um if my
You
husband
said the
felt that way, I
celebrity,
would
not me.
rather, yeah, celebrity. I'm saying
Yeah,
I
yeah.
would rather my man just leave. You know what I mean? Don't come home because your coworker is not interested in you. That's not that's not what's up. I'd rather you just go on about your business. So actually,
Don't come home with if your co-star is not interested in you. What
yeah,
the?
yeah,
You're supposed to work with your job partner, female or male or whatever, not straight. For the love of God,
yeah.
what the?
So what I'm basically saying is, I think men sometimes are passive like that. Some men are like go getters, but I feel like she probably, and okay, maybe I'm wrong, but I feel like she probably made her interest known first. That's what I'm thinking because he would have had more to lose making his interest known because he was married. But I'm sure whatever he went with it. Clearly, he went with it. So uh
Okay.
okay, so final takeaway. The Jolie Pitt Aniston situation reveals that moral judgments about relationships are not just about actions. They are shaped by gender norms, archetypes, expectations about responsibility. The key pattern: women are often treated as the moral gatekeepers of relationships, even ones they're not in. That's very, I like that. Women are often treated as the moral gatekeepers of relationships, even ones they're not in. Very interesting. Now, I always thought the whole, he's the one who made the vows thing was a cop out, because right is right and wrong is wrong. So
Depends
yeah,
what you mean.
I do think that's a cop out, but at the same time, clearly he's the one that was in a relationship with her. He's the one who's supposed to be protecting her heart and her feelings. He's the one, you know what I mean? Because she don't know this woman, you know. So I think a lot of times people may say that, they may feel that way just based on the fact that, like, okay, well, y'all both are women, so why would you do another woman like that? But not everybody Not everybody thinks like that, you know. Not everybody thinks like that.
Okay. I wish that. You know what? Let me ask you something. Those, I see that you have an interest in the life of those celebrities.
No, I
You
don't. I
know,
promise you, I don't. I don't.
okay. Still,
I
from what I know, a lot of people that follow those celebrities are interested in their lives. I wish that those were my problems or the stuff that I'm obsessed with. I wish.
Yeah, no, I don't care about celebrities. I
Yeah.
really don't. I
Well,
had to.
you talked about them a lot for
Well, no,
somebody that
no,
doesn't care.
I do not. I do not. That's just I'm using them as a case study for this situation in which I'm really just trying to discuss what defines morality. What defines
If you,
right or wrong? How is it
yeah,
wrong if you're happy at the end? That's what I'm
yeah,
saying.
if you want to study some celebrity as an example, or as an example what not to do, or just for, you know, curiosity,
Uh-huh.
then I would recommend what is his name? First of all, the Princess Diana.
Okay.
Um, and what's the name of that guy that played Batman in the 90s with Jim Carrey? What his name? I have his face,
Batman
but his
with
name.
Michael
The
Keaton.
guy played it. He played Batman, and he has a lot of commercials with coffee.
I don't know. I know Michael Keaton played
He's
Batman.
married to a Syrian woman. I forgot his name.
I do not.
Um, he played. He,
Which
what?
Batman you talking about? That would determine, hey, hey, cynical one. Um,
What?
I'm saying it depends on which Batman you're talking about.
The
Um,
one with the 90s with the penguin and the Catwoman
okay, so I
in
think
the
that's
90s.
still was that still Michael Keaton? I think that was still Michael
It was
Keaton.
live action, not a cartoon.
That was still I think that was still Michael Keaton. I don't know.
No, that's not his name.
Oh, I don't know.
Um, he played in that movie. Jim Carrey played as the question guy.
I don't know.
It was when Jim Carrey was young.
Okay, so
In
um
any case, that celebrity specifically, I would look in terms of interest in relationships.
mhm.
But besides that, mm, again, like I said earlier, the celebrities are overall screwy people.
Mhm.
You like, maybe they know how to perform, but you don't need to take their advice or take them as a role model, because they are
Mhm.
not.
Of course, yeah. So, okay, I found the quote. Okay, I said, has Angelina ever commented publicly about accusations that she likes men that are taken? So it says yes, and interestingly, Angelina Jolie has directly addressed that exact narrative, especially in relation to Brad Pitt and Jennifer Aniston. What she has actually said, she explicitly rejected the idea of being involved with a taken man. In response to accusations that she broke up Pitt's marriage, Jolie said, "To be intimate with a married man is not something I could forgive. I wouldn't be attracted to a man who would cheat on his wife." Do I believe that? No. Okay. She tied this to her own upbringing, referencing how her father's infidelity affected her family and framed it as a personal boundary, not just PR damage control. She denied having an affair during Mr. and Mrs. Smith. Jolie consistently maintained that she and Pitt did not start a relationship while he was still actively married, even though they fell in love during filming. Now that's bullshit. That's bullshit. Because, like, what do you mean? Like, what do you mean? So you're saying, okay, you know what? All right, the public timeline remained controversial, but she never embraced the taken men label. She pushed back on it. She's acknowledged the perception without embracing it. Her public image has long included that home record label, especially in 2005, but she didn't lean into it or joke about it. Instead, she positioned herself as morally opposed to infidelity and largely stopped engaging with that narrative publicly after the mid 2000s. The interesting contradiction. This is where your question gets perceptive. There's a clear tension between her stated values, strongly anti infidelity, and the public pattern, multiple relationships that overlapped or were perceived that way. That disconnect is part of why the narrative stuck so strongly. People tend to judge patterns more than statements, especially when timelines are messy or unclear. So, whether, okay, is asking it's gonna go deeper into, or it's asking if I wanted to go deeper into whether her earlier relationships, like Billy Bob Thornton, contradict that statement more directly, or how media framing versus actual timelines shaped her reputation in a gendered way. I mean, I'll leave that alone. I came to the conclusion that um she doesn't care if somebody is married or not. I don't know what she said. I mean, whatever. Clearly, she don't give a damn what people think, right? Because let's just say there was some technicality, which I don't believe in technicalities. Meaning, I guess she's saying that if let's just say they didn't quote unquote have an affair during the filming of Mr. and Mrs. Smith. So she's saying that they were
I have a
emotional.
question, if I
Wait.
may. Yeah,
She's
sorry.
saying they were emotionally involved, but they just didn't get in bed together. Is that what she's saying? So I mean, I just feel like that's on some technicality BS. And then the Billy Bob thing, maybe she feel like, okay, well, he wasn't actually married. I don't know, but clearly she knows what it looks like, but clearly she don't care what it looked like. So I don't think that what she said is going to make anybody change their mind about the situation or what type of person she is. Like I said, I don't think she's a bad person, but at the same time, she using what she got to get what she wants. So yeah, what were you gonna say?
Yes, you said that she had an affair. The kid from the picture, the African kid from the picture is from the affair, or
No, I didn't
is
say no. I said she says that she didn't have an affair with Brad during filming. So no, the kid is adopted.
oh well,
I think you misunderstood what I said.
yeah. No, well, it will be funny if that would be her kid from affair, but never mind that.
Yeah, no. So I don't think.
No,
Yeah, I
at
don't.
least Brad Pitt will have a reason to beat up the biological father.
Yeah.
In general, it's remind me of a scene in the movie, what's the Naked Gun.
Okay, my dad watched
You,
that a lot, but I don't really remember.
hmm?
OJ Simpson in that movie.
The Naked Gun with it's from, I don't remember the name of the actor. It's from actor that passed away around almost a decade ago. And that actor, in the end of one of his movies, if he is next to his wife with a camera that gives birth, and the other guy is that next to him is an African American, and
Yeah.
when the woman is giving birth, it's the kids look like like his body, and then he started screaming go run after his body, so his body, because he thinks that
Yeah.
it remind me that.
Let me see. I'm trying to see his OJ in this movie. Yeah, he was in that movie. Maybe that's who you're talking about, OJ.
It's not O.J. Simpson, but
Okay.
whatever.
Yeah, but this live was it lasted longer than I thought it would last, and it was kind of unorganized. I don't know if I really made my point fully. I'm not even sure I have a point. I just would say that I'm coming to the conclusion that if somebody wants to be somewhere else, I would just want them to go there, because the problem isn't that he went somewhere else. The problem is that he wanted to go somewhere else. You see what I mean? Because even if he's
Yeah.
still with you because another woman rejected him, it's the same thing. So I mean, it's gonna hurt, but I mean that's life. You just try not to internalize it, I guess. You know, he's
Yeah,
not.
the question if there is kids in the picture in all of this.
Yeah, so fortunately he didn't have kids with the other woman, and that's I mean with the first wife, and that goes for both of them, both of the situations that I'm talking about. And like I said, these men are not perfect. So like he could be considered a heartthrob and all that, and she went through hell with him. Like she said he was abusive and everything, but and he had an alcohol problem, so people could be together and then they end up hating each other, so it don't even matter. It's
Okay.
whatever. Hopefully Jennifer found love, and hopefully the person she found, she actually really did love him and didn't think he was like second best. Hopefully that's all I can really say.
Yeah. At least she's not Jennifer Lopez, or like they say in South Park, I am Jennifer Lopez and I eat taco to live.
Yeah.
You saw that episode?
No, I don't really watch that.
No, it's funny. You see literally Cartman. Excuse me for that noise. You see Cartman making his hand, painting, creating a picture out of his hand to make it and say I'm Jennifer Lopez, and then the real Jennifer Lopez come again to beat him up, and then take a saw and try to, take out his hand. And the husband of Jennifer Lopez, that at least in that time, is in love with his with Cartman's hand.
Mm-hmm.
No,
Yeah.
it's funny how they show Jennifer Lopez getting angry.
Yeah, that show is still going strong, huh? I remember that.
Yeah,
being
no, well, not Trump. I think it's they lost their edge more. I think 5 years ago.
okay.
Yeah, they
Um,
lost their edge. I think if you want a comedy show now, I think it's Family Guy. It's maybe a left-wing show, but still very funny.
so,
Hmm?
you think so? You think it's a left wing show? But
Well, no, not not hardcore left, but it's a little bit into the left in terms of their behavior towards Trump.
oh, okay, yeah, I haven't watched that lately either. I'm gonna call it a day. I'm gonna wrap this up. I feel like I was all over the place with this live, so hey, maybe the next one will be a little smoother, a little cleaner. There's
Yeah.
some other topics that I want to talk about that I have on that I already have scheduled, but I just didn't do them. So
What topics, if I may ask?
yeah, if you look on my live tab, I'm gonna tell you, but I already scheduled them, but they are I didn't actually do them when they were scheduled. So they are, let's see. Oh wait.
Yeah, if you have a subject, if you want to talk about subject that I would be very, let's say, know a lot about, then just say so, and I will gladly help you.
Okay. I'm gonna tell you what it is. One of them is gonna be about logic. Like the stuff,
Magic,
logic.
okay.
Yes.
Well,
One of them is gonna be about the psychological purpose of heaven and hell. And then another one is gonna be about how to interpret statistics. And then another one, I don't know if I'm still gonna do that one, but it was supposed to be about Anton Daniels, Corey Holcomb, Tasha K, and Christina Payne.
Daniels who?
Huh?
Daniels, what's the name of that Daniels?
Yeah, you probably don't know who I'm talking about, but just some drama that went down like a couple of months ago. But I don't know. I may not do that one. Probably not going to do that one. But yeah. But
yeah, in general, if you want to also do topics about, let's say, what I'm going right now, then you have me as a voice about that.
Okay.
Whatever.
Yeah. You're talking about like Israel.
Yeah, I'm talking about in general what's going on now. Of course, that's a whole a lot of there is a lot of topics in that specific topic. Okay, like I said, I can help you with that. Of course, I don't want it to be a shouting match. I had enough of those.
Yeah, no, it's not that serious. But like, I probably wouldn't talk about. That situation I probably wouldn't talk about.
Don't worry, I'm not going to say some. Also, I'm not going to say. Yeah, I'm not. In general, I'm not going to say anything that will put your channel in jeopardy. So don't worry. I know how to watch my mouth.
Yeah, that's another reason. I didn't even think about that, but yeah. Thank you for coming up. Thank you for coming up, and whoever came by, thank you for coming by. I'm gonna close this out with the song that I started with, and
Okay. Have a wonderful day. See ya, or night in my case.
Thank you for coming up.
Bye.
Okay, so I'm gonna close out with this song that I started with, and it's called God's Gone, and it's by somebody that I follow. I would call her a friend of mine. Her name is Neo X. She says, okay, it's God's Gone by Zero Neo X, if I can talk. But I feel like this song is a little bit pertinent to what we're talking about, just based on the fact that we're acknowledging our own responsibility for our own behavior and our own decisions. So if you listen to the lyrics of the song, it's about somebody coming to the realization that it's on us. You know what I mean? It's on us. It's not, you don't always have somebody that you can go to. You know, for a long time, we may have thought that we had somebody that we can go to, but just listen to the lyrics, y'all. This song is me, y'all. Okay, so I'm about to share it, and I'm gonna see y'all next time, and y'all have a good night.
Nothing but the same for me. Heartbroken into where my brain should be. Wait for me. Don't leave without a second glance. Not again. Oh, what a shame, what a shame. Oh, what a shame, what a shame. Oh, what a shame, what a shame. God's gone, God's gone, God's gone. God's gone, God's gone, God's gone. For once, can you listen? Is that too much to ask for? Before the seasons change, before it gets cold, can you at least pretend? Can you at least pretend? Life of a pessimist, only a fool believes there is a God in the sky who listens to the plea of his child. How could he leave us all alone? Leave us all alone. How could he leave us all alone? Leave us all alone. Oh, what a shame, what a shame. Oh, what a shame, what a shame. Oh, what a shame, what a shame. God's gone, God's gone, God's gone. God's gone, God's gone, God's gone. For once, can you listen? Is that too much to ask for? Before the seasons change, before it gets cold, can you at least pretend? Can you at least pretend?
Can you listen? Is that too much to ask for? Before the seasons change, before it gets cold, can you at least pretend?